Good evening, welcome inside the booth. I'm Noah Bedoris, joined alongside Andrew Hutzing. It's a pleasure to be with you here tonight for Week 9 on CHTV, and happy senior night. Andrew, how's it going?
It's going great tonight. The Greyhounds are wearing their senior night uniforms, the black, gray colored, you could call it, with the gold letters. The Carmel Greyhounds senior night is about to start to happen, and we're here on call to give you a list of all of our seniors this season.
Yeah, like you said, moments away from senior night intros for this football team. We're in the midst of the cheerleading intros right now, but what a festivity this is that we get to celebrate every year, recognizing these guys and the cheerleaders that have really put a whole lot of effort in for 4 years and getting that recognition. Even after sort of a disappointing year like this, it's great to recognize our senior class.
Yeah, for sure, the senior class has put in a lot of work and effort. Definitely not the season that the senior football team was wanting to have, as they have fallen 3-5 on the season, but the senior work has still put in a lot of work and effort to get to the point where they're at today.
Yeah, like you said, 3-5, the record sitting at right now for the Hounds, on track for the worst season since 1997 for the Carmel Greyhounds, but there's still some positives to look at. It's been a great year for Anthony Corner, but he's just a junior, so we're going to celebrate his senior night a year from now, but a lot of positives despite the losing record.
Yeah, the first on our senior list, as the football senior list is getting started, is Brandon Adams, number 8, who has a couple of college football offers, hasn't really committed anywhere hard yet, but he has been a great defensive player for the Greyhounds this season, as he's been in had a big stop against Brebeuf.
Yeah, Adams, like you said, a guy that stepped up big time. He wasn't a massive contributor defensively earlier in this year, but with the amount of injuries we've seen from the defense especially, Adams has been a guy that has really had his number called a lot and has stepped up to the job.
Our next senior for the Greyhounds is Yusuf Boulos, 44. We haven't seen much action for him this season. There's not many positions that has been open for him, even though we have had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, you know, those are the guys you really appreciate, are these seniors that put in 4 years of effort and really do not see the field a whole lot. And so it's nice to see Boulos get that recognition. You know he's a locker room guy. You know the guys appreciate him, even though he's not getting those snaps.
Another guy similar to Boulos, Jackson Bowie, he's put in a lot of work and effort his 4 years. He's getting that recognition that he deserves tonight too for the unseen hours at his practices.
Yeah, Bowie's seen a few snaps, but like you said, still limited appearances. Drew Cannon up next. He's had a massive impact going all the way back to his sophomore year.
Yeah, Drew Cannon has been a key defensive player for the Greyhounds. Had a little bit of injuries throughout the middle of the season. Back tonight in action. Hopefully going to help out the Greyhounds in the defensive half a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely something noticeable, is the injuries have been the storyline all year for Carmel, and so it's great to see a guy like Drew Cannon come back. He had an interception this year, and so definitely a key piece for this defense and a lot of missing pieces.
Our next senior, Marco Kate, has been huge on the offensive line for the Greyhounds. Marco Kate wants to play football in college. He's not yet committed, but he wants to study business.
I've heard he wants Vandy.
Yeah, I heard he wants to go to Vanderbilt. His brother plays there. His brother's the only Carmel player in Carmel history to go to SEC school.
Please welcome senior
Lincoln Ewup is next for the Carmel Greyhounds. He wants to continue playing football in college, not yet committed either, and also wants to study business.
Yeah, how about those two guys back to back? You got Marco and Lincoln, two studs on the offensive line. They've been stagnantly solid all year despite, you know, the issues that we've seen in the offensive line. A little bit of a disappointment compared to the hype we expected, but I think the line definitely has done their job.
Our next two seniors for the Greyhounds, John Lukachel and Derek Fedorcha, two very big defensive players. Derek Fedorcha will be playing tonight. John Lukachel suffered an injury early on the season, which has been devastating for the Greyhounds, as he was leading in tackles for the first 4 weeks, even though only playing the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, John Lukachel, one of those guys that went kind of under the radar going into this year, and his voice was definitely heard early on in this year, so it's definitely disappointing to see him go down. But speaking of unsung hero, Dylan Gould has stepped up in a major way this year. He was not starting in week 1, but because of these injuries, he has definitely stepped up in a major way and has had a major impact defensively.
Yeah, another Carmel Greyhound senior, Carter Grayson, number 24, hasn't seen many minutes. He's had some injury struggles here for the Greyhounds too.
Nate Griego making his way across CHTV's very own. He plans to study marketing, but is undecided as to where.
Next, we have Kahil Hardsetter. He kind of took a hit in some action playing time the last couple of seasons. He wants to not play in college, but he wants to go into business or pre-law and wants to attend IU.
Colton Hunt making his way across the field. He will not play tonight, but he certainly has had a season worth bragging about. He's one of those guys that has definitely been gritty all 4 years. Did not get a whole lot of minutes, but when he got his time this year, he was impactful.
Yeah, for sure. We could see a lot of action on him from special teams, getting those tackles, getting those stops on during the special teams.
Colin Johnson up next. He's had kind of a heartbreaking year going into this year, being that first option at running back, but injuries have set him back. And thankfully for the Hounds, there's some depth in that running back unit, but Colin Johnson has been missing most of it.
Yeah, Nick Kelly, one of those guys who hasn't seen as many minutes either this season as some of us might have expected on the defensive half. Craig Kepler,
speaking of depth.
Yeah, Craig Kepler, running back, and Brady Knudsen, another running back tight end position that he's kind of filled in for Ozzie Pollard as he's been injured.
For sure.
But yeah, Craig Kepler, that number 1-2 kind of guy, switching off with Pemberton a little bit.
Lucas Christian Murphy now making his way. He has had quite a year, to say the least. Been a bit of a roller coaster for the young man, but it's nice to see him still here, still in good spirits, and hopefully the leg is working tonight.
Yeah, for sure. The Carmel Greyhounds have put him in some tough positions, making him look worse than he actually is, in my opinion. They've really put him in some tough situations that is not his fault, and he should not be down on himself about.
Carson Mace now, he's a guy that's going to be used a lot tonight with the injuries to the wide receiver core. You're going to see a lot of Carson Mace. But speaking of the receivers, here comes Liam Mann, and that stature is intimidating right there.
Yeah, also will not play tonight. It seems as he's in more street clothes than football wear. That's a big hit for the Greyhounds as he was starting the majority of the season, more of an eye candy for many defenses. He drew a couple of penalties. Definitely some more should have been called on him just because of his size and stature. That he didn't get called for many holdings.
Aiden Moore has not played a snap on offense so far this year, but he is listed as a second option for Carmel tonight with all these injuries, so hopefully we're going to see some Aiden Moore action tonight. Here's Holden Mumau. He's had a few snaps in late minutes so far this year at the running back position. He's a senior that has definitely put in a whole lot of hard work, and it's nice to see him get his flowers tonight.
Next, Adel Navarrete. He will be on the defensive line, most likely starting tonight for the Greyhounds, as there's also been some injuries on the defensive line. But Adel had a couple back injury concerns a couple weeks ago, but he's gotten cleared past those, and he'll be in action for the Greyhounds tonight.
Eugenio hit his head on the balloon arch walking in. He's going to get some definitely starting minutes tonight. Talk about his commitments.
Yeah, he's committed to Troy to play football and wants to study broadcasting. One of CHTV's also very own Eugenio. He's been a tough player this season, a couple of issues on and off the field, but I think tonight he's gonna prove himself and prove his commitment.
Yeah, and we know his personality. He relishes in these sort of things. This is definitely a night that he is going to enjoy, not just as a football player, but as a person, getting this recognition for a lot of hard work for Carmel football.
Next, we have Kevin Oliveira. Hasn't seen many minutes this season as he's also suffered with some injuries. Next, we have Evan Parker, center for the Greyhounds, has been starting since sophomore year, got a little bit of playing time freshman year. Absolute rock for the Greyhounds, committed to IU, and is going to Kelly Law Business School.
Ozzie Pollard up next. He's been a guy that has been sort of a face of this team for quite some time, playing both sides of the ball this year, but his year was cut short due to injury.
Yeah, Ozzie is uncommitted, yet he wants to play college football. That's going to be a little tough this season, not having much of that film, but I think the film that he will have will just be enough to get him
I think
through
he has a
with
good
his size.
chance. Like you said, his film is great, and just physically, he is a guy that college programs are going to want to keep.
Next, we have Grant Preston. Hasn't really seen many minutes for the Greyhounds this season either. Kind of just one of those guys who's been through the program, put in his work, and just getting that recognition.
For sure. A little bit of a pause right here.
Jabril Randolph is walking down for the Greyhounds, number 2. He saw a lot of minutes last year as his junior year playing corner. Hasn't seen as many minutes as I would have thought he would have gotten this year in that corner position. Next, Mikey Rasaki, another guy who has not seen a whole lot of action for the Greyhounds. Just a lot of these senior guys who've been here, stuck through the program, shown their commitment through their senior year. That's a tough thing to do, not getting on the field, but still showing up every day for this team and putting in the work and hours that a lot of people don't see because they're not on the field, but they still have that talent and that will and drive to be part of this team.
Right, and the nice thing about these senior nights is that they come after you get your pull for the first round of the postseason. And so when you're recognizing these seniors and you know that guys like Mikey Rasaki are not getting snaps, you might see him get a little bit of action tonight solely because he is a senior and the Hounds have little to nothing to play for.
We have Antonio Sosa, hasn't seen as many minutes either for the Greyhounds due to some injuries throughout this season. Another one of those guys who just been here all the years, putting in that time and effort, and he deserves his recognition.
Michael Stewart Zimmerman making his way across the field. Hopefully going to see a few minutes out of him tonight. He has had limited availability as a wide receiver, but due to the open spots tonight, we should see some of him.
Next, we have St. Keith Falveri, committed to Army West Point to play football alongside last year's commit Artie Bryant, who's at Army West Point currently.
Yeah, Valeri's been definitely a rock in this offensive line. A lot of big guys protecting Anthony Colner so far this year, and they're definitely getting the recognition. A lot of college offers from that line.
Next, we have Nate Williams, the wide receiver unit for the Greyhounds, it seems. He has been the rock and core of the Greyhounds offense and defense, playing both wide receiver and corner. Has 3 interceptions in one game and has 3 interceptions on the season, leading the Greyhounds.
Yeah, Williams, one of the few healthy starters from week 1 who is still playing tonight, and so hopefully we're going to see a lot of targets going to him, and you know Lawrence Central has their eyes all over him tonight. Next up, Jimmy Winbush Jr. He's been a stud going all the way back to last year. He's been up on the leaderboards for tackles for Carmel his entire career.
Yeah, Jimmy Winbush has 21 offers for college. A lot to look out for him there, looking for his commitment here soon. As we wrap it up with the final person for the Greyhounds, we have Griffin Woodward in that wide receiver 1 position tonight. We should see some action from him, hopefully getting some snaps, some catches, getting the recognition that he deserves. I mean, just looking down at this senior class, big senior class, lots of guys who put in a lot of time and hours that have definitely gone unseen. But the senior class has really proved themselves. Definitely not the season that they were looking for, but the Greyhounds are going to go out tonight and fight to prove and show that they have had this fight and will the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, Woodward's in that genre of that kind of second-tier receiver. You look at Woodward, you look at Mace, even look at Gilmore, and these are guys that we've seen a lot more snaps for later in this year. Their game has some holes, and you got to prepare for next year. It has some holes, and you got to prepare for next year. If you are this coaching staff and you're worried about the future of this program, you need to get some concentration set on these younger guys who are going to need.
Yeah, definitely want to feed into Anthony Colner, definitely feed into his targets, his junior targets, maybe some sophomore targets that are up and coming. Just really get them the action, get them the minutes, get them the experience that they need for the next upcoming seasons.
We'll pause here for a patriotic moment on CHTV after this commercial break.
And when I stopped playing volleyball freshman year, I guess it was very much my new thing is what I like to call it. I think it really just gave me something to do with my time, a new hobby. I mean, I made some of my best friends here. I don't know what I'd be doing without it because it is that thing for me, and it really made the school smaller.
I mean, it's such a cliche, but I feel like within such a big school, it's really important to find your niche and to find your community. And Highlight has been, well, all of ours, but mine for sure.
There's really no other room like the Highlight room, right? It's like a workspace in the middle of school. Like the things we do in this classroom, you will not do anywhere else. The students organize everything. We go out, get content, we get it edited, we get it published on our own website. Like being able to do that as a high school student has been really impactful.
It's just so much, whether it's the social part or it's the professional environment. Either way, like this room has become a bit of a second home or like my home base at Carmel. So I'd say it's kind of all-encompassing, which I know is pretty vague, but I think it fits.
In a world cluttered with the same old stories, there's a beacon of creativity and innovation waiting to be discovered. CHTV isn't just a station. It's a journey into the hearts and minds of storytellers and dreamers. It's a canvas for the bold, the innovative, and the heartfelt. CHTV is where curiosity meets inspiration, where you're not just watching, but exploring, learning, and feeling. With the press of a button, we connect voices and visions, bringing them into the comfort of your home. Join us and let's discover something new together.
I'm Brian Melby alongside Eli Penkwhite. We're here at the Carmel Stadium for the Greyhounds' final game before sectionals. Today is senior night, and the matchup is the Carmel Greyhounds versus the Lawrence Central Bears. All the fans are amped up for senior night, wearing their dark colors for the blackout theme. Tonight should be a great game. Let's get into it, Eli.
Yeah, the Greyhounds have had a cold streak the last two games. They started out Ben Davis. It was a competitive match, 14-14 after the first quarter, but Ben Davis kept up the pace and in the fourth quarter scored 21 points and won in the end 58-30. Andrew Pemberton, who has been a really big running back for the Greyhounds most of the year, only had 11 rushing yards against Ben Davis.
Yeah, and last week wasn't much better versus Warren Central. Carmel lost 35-3 and gave up 229 rushing yards. The Greyhounds themselves had 19 carries and only 10 rushing yards, so we need to improve on that, improve all around.
A big player who's continued to be a star for the Greyhounds is Nate Williams. He's averaged 58 yards per game with 465 receiving yards on 35 receptions. They've been relying on him on both sides of the field, and he leads the team in receiving touchdowns with 5 and leads the team in interceptions with 3.
Yeah, Nate has been a great weapon for the Greyhounds, but let's get into the keys to the game. One thing that Carmel needs to improve on is stronger blocking, protecting Anthony Koner. Koner last year only threw 8 touchdowns, and he's already doubled that with 16, so he's having a much better season. He should have a great game if we are able to protect him and keep him healthy.
Another big key for this week is to stop big plays. They struggled with passes past 10 yards the last couple weeks, and 3 Ben Davis wide receivers had over 10 yards per reception, and each of those receivers had at least one play go for more than 25 yards. Ben Davis also had 2 kick return touchdowns, and 14 points can be a really big deal in a matchup like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, Eli, tonight is the Greyhounds' last game before sectionals, where the Greyhounds will match up versus Zionsville and their senior quarterback, Zach Trent, who was a backup quarterback for Anthony Koner last year for the Greyhounds, but he wasn't getting much playing time, so he transferred to Zionsville, where he is now starting, having a bit of a revenge game, so that should be a great game as well.
A big thing for today and against Zionsville in a couple weeks is Carmel has a lot of reserve players in right now. They have a lot of injuries, especially with 4 linebackers being out, including John Luke Etchell and Will Massey, who are their starters. Along with that, defensive tackle and tight end Ozzie Pollard is out, and he was a very big disruptor on the D-line, and he was a good player on the offense that they could just get the ball to if they needed to. Along with that, wide receiver Jake Bellin and wide receiver Dom Shockley are also out, and they were repeatedly good players this entire year and were great weapons for Colner to have.
Yeah, let's hope Carmel is able to battle through those injuries and still get the win. Tonight should be a great game. 2 similar teams, should be a dogfight. And I've been Brian Melby alongside Eli Penkwhite, and we'll be back in a moment.
I mean, it's such a cliche, but I feel like within such a big, it's big school, it's really important to find your niche and to find your community. And Highlight has been, well, all has been.
It's Week 9 coverage of Carmel football on CHTV. I'm Noah Bedoris with Andrew Huitzing, just moments away from kickoff. Andrew, what are we thinking going into this game? Both teams sitting at 3-5. Disappointing year for both squads, but Carmel's got postseason aspirations ahead of them. Looking ahead to next week against Zions, what do we need to see tonight to have a better sense of optimism for this postseason?
Yeah, it's going to take an all-out effort from the Greyhounds. We're going to see like one of the best games they've played from the season, pulling from some guys that haven't even seen the field this season, already getting into this game. We can see Griffin Woodward starting that wide receiver position. I'm not even sure if he's seen a snap this season. And his first snap coming on senior night, the last regular season, last home game for the Greyhounds this season. To bring out a close, as you said, that the Greyhounds have had a struggle of a season, sitting at 3-5. The first time they could have under a 500 season since 1997. The Carmel Greyhounds, to be above that 500 record, would have to win tonight against Zionsville in the next game, the sectional game.
Potentially Westfield right there.
And then potentially Westfield the game after, if they want to stay above that 500. I do not see a way that they can manage that to happen unless they just play out of their minds and have a great run.
Yeah, I also agree. It's a steep journey for Carmel the rest of this season, and so because of that, this senior night might be emotional for a lot of guys. Kind of a heavier usage for these guys that are lacking minutes because you just want to give them, that last memory. Because for a lot of these guys, this is the last game they're going to play. It's not like a lot of sports where you're going to be able to play pickup games the rest of your life. This is a much more physically demanding sport, and so these guys, for the most part, are playing some of their last games tonight.
Yeah, some of these guys playing maybe second to last, third to last. Who knows how so far the Greyhounds can go this season. But the last home game for the Greyhounds, which is just big, as these guys have been here for multiple years, putting in work every single day on this field, protecting their home turf tonight, trying to get a win, trying to eke out to 4-5, and just show some light and betterment and looking ahead for the Greyhounds more so than maybe this season here.
We mentioned it being a home game. Carmel only 1-3 at home this year, and so it's been a bit of a struggle. That first win coming week 1 against Homestead, and so really for whatever reason, while the whole season has been a struggle for Carmel, playing at home has been an extra particular struggle. Part of that could be attributed to really the lack of fan involvement we've seen so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, Carmel student section is in one of the top for AC Weather Channel 8 student sections in the Hamilton County, Indiana state. Usually sticks more to the Hamilton County area. But the Carmel Greyhounds student section has been one of the worst I've seen in the last 4 years here at Carmel. I mean, half the student section is only filled. We saw before fall break, there was practically no one here by the start of the second half. The Carmel Greyhounds student section has not been showing up and showing out, and maybe giving that energy boost that the Greyhound football team needs to keep on going out throughout the entirety of this game.
Right, we made note of that in the Ben Davis game in week 7, that the student section was sparse, but at least the general admission was pretty full. But tonight we're seeing a little bit of scarcity in the general admission, which is a little disappointing to see on senior night. Typically you see a surplus of friends and family showing up for this senior class, but it's a bit of a grim sight tonight. It is blackout, and most of these fans look like they are dressed for a funeral.
Yeah, and the Carmel Greyhounds could also be dressed for this funeral here, their last home game season, and probably, in my opinion, could be the second to last game of this season. They're going to need an absolute battle here tonight to show Zionsville what they have to bring to the table next week for the more important sectional game. This game doesn't really matter for their record at this point. They're already way behind. I think if you're Carmel, focus on the sectional. Do stuff that you want to do against Zionsville more in this game to prepare for that game, because this game, I mean, yeah, you obviously want to win it for your looks in your program, but I think you need to focus more on that sectional game and pull out some stuff that you might want to try in that game and just kind of get ahead and planning for that game.
Well, we heard of the soundbite from Uchenna Ojada earlier this week that momentum is a massive tool for any football team. And so while I agree with what you're saying that this game means little to nothing for Carmel, if they can rattle off this win this week, that is an extra boost going into sectionals. Getting back into the win column, it's been a rough 2 weeks for Carmel on this 2-game skid, but if you can get a win at home, and I think you definitely can against this LC team who has had just as many struggles as Carmel had, but they've been healthy the whole time.
Yeah, Lawrence Central has really struggled this season. They haven't really had top competitors that the Greyhounds has kind of seen this season. They also lost to Ben Davis 7-27. The Greyhounds lost 30-58. So I mean, a lot different scoring there. The Greyhounds scored a lot that game. Ben Davis also scored a lot that game. Ben Davis, Lawrence Central was a lot more or less scoring than the Carmel Ben Davis game. So I mean, looking at that matchup, I think that tonight's game will be fairly even. It's going to come down to who wants this more. I think the seniors are going to put in an effort tonight to really try to stick one more game out for the home team and get that second home win of the season, as they not produced as much as they wanted for the Greyhound home fans this season.
Yeah, biggest difference maker tonight, I believe, will be who can step up for Carmel. Lots of injuries on both sides of the ball as we get set for kickoff. Hounds set to receive the ball first. Cooper Jordan sending it away. A weak kick right around Carmel's 25-yard line. Bobbled by the Hounds. Loose ball. Who's going to pick it up? Both sides believing they've recovered it, but the ball is signaled to be Hounds football. Griffin Woodward picking it up, but a little bit of a monstrosity going on for Carmel on special teams in the first play of the game.
Yeah, we saw that 2 weeks ago here against Ben Davis. We saw some kind of funky kicks, and the Greyhounds kind of struggling with getting that ball as the ball kind of bounces around weird on this turf. Don't really know where it's going. The Greyhounds need to get that under control, because I think that's something that Lawrence Central picked up on maybe in that Ben Davis film and kind of want to attack on the Greyhounds and really put them in some pressure positions.
So first play for Anthony Colner and this offense. He gets rid of it quickly, finds Drew Pemberton for a gain of 0 there on first down.
Yeah, Drew Pemberton is one of those guys I would feed tonight. We saw a really good start of the season from Drew Pemberton. He's kind of slowed down a lot more than I would have thought. He had some great momentum going for him, but he's one of the guys I would use a lot tonight. Keep on getting him touches with Anthony Colner and letting their chemistry kind of grow throughout these last 2 games potentially, and kind of flow into the next season as they will be working together.
Yeah, especially with most of this receiving core being hurt, you might see a lot more of the ball staying on the ground, as the next play is a pitch to Nate Williams, but he gets nothing there as a flag comes in.
Yeah, Nate Williams has been one of those guys that you have to target. He's been so dominant for the Greyhounds. We see him get so many minutes for the Greyhounds on both the wide receiving end, on the offense, and on the defensive end, playing cornerback, having 3 interceptions on corner, almost like a Travis Hunter there for the Greyhounds.
Officials still waiting to give the signal, and that's going to be a holding call on the offense. So in an effort to give Nate Williams some room, some guys held on a little too long. That's going to push the Hounds back here on this first possession of the night.
Yeah, definitely not ideal positioning already for the Greyhounds, being back in their own red zone. Looks like it's going to be 2nd and 21 for the Greyhounds. Definitely not how you want to start off this game, being in your own territory, in far back, having to get a lot of yardage early.
Yeah, we talked about how you want to see the ball stay on the ground, but when you get penalties like that and the long field to go, you might have to air it out a little bit if you're Anthony Colner. 2nd and 21. Colner hands it off once again to Drew Pemberton. Pemberton gets a few positive yards, but still well short of the original line of scrimmage or the line to gain. So that's going to bring up 3rd down and very long.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the Carmel offense is doing there. If I'm Carmel offense, I'm wanting to get the ball to Anthony Colner's hands, let him get some touches on the ball, let him find his receivers early. And I mean, on 2nd and 21, running it, I'm not sure if that's the play call I would pick. Yeah, Drew Pemberton, we have seen him get some breakout runs, but this early on, I think you need to look for some passes to get some yardage.
3rd and 15 for the Blackout Hounds. Colner, pocket collapses. He'll try to run with it. He's got some room in front of him. Anthony Colner gets the first down and goes down to his own 40-yard line. First down of the night for the Hounds. And that's a sigh of relief, because we know how hard those first downs came last week. Only 5 for the offense, 2 of those coming via the penalty. So already that first down on this set of downs as clock runs here in the first quarter. 1st and 10 for Carmel.
I really liked what the Carmel Greyhounds did. They focused all the attention more to the Carmel Greyhound sideline, really opened up the left side of the field for Conner, which he was able to take advantage of. He had the vision of just taking that wide open route off to the left and was easy able to find that first down.
Gilmore in the backfield now for Carmel. Play action goes to Nate Williams. Williams makes one man miss, makes another man miss, spinning around, and he gets the first down.
Yeah, Nate Williams already getting 2 targets here earlier for the Greyhounds. He's going to continue to see lots of touches as the wide receiving core is not what it has been throughout the start of this season. I think we'll see a lot of minutes from Jake Bellin too, who we thought could have been questionable for this game. So it's good to see Jake Bellin out there for the Greyhounds, as he's been a key factor for the Greyhounds in getting those catches and touches when needed.
Yeah, like you said, Bellin, a bit of a question mark coming into tonight, but it's nice to see him playing. 1st down and 10 for Carmel. Ball goes to Gilmore. He's got nothing there. And after Carmel crosses midfield, they get stuffed on that first play of this new set.
You know what's interesting, though, is that we have Josiah Gilmore here listed as playing in that wide receiver position, technically, if one of the wide receivers were to go down. Right now we see him back in this running back position, but I think we'll be seeing him kind of switching between the two where he's needed more in this game.
Yeah, we've seen Pemberton, we've seen Gilmore. We have yet to see Craig Kepler in as a running back, but he's definitely been a key piece in this very deep wide receiver core. 2nd down and 11. Corner, nobody in the backfield. Lines up 2 receivers on either side. He'll pass plenty of time. Scrambling now, moving left, finds an open man. Falling down as he catches it. That's Carson Mace for a 1st down.
Yeah, we saw Carson Mace get some more touches here 2 weeks ago against Ben Davis. Good to see him getting those catches early. Just kind of shows, like what you've been saying, the depth of the wide receiver core for the Greyhounds. So many different assets that Anthony Conner can look to, and he's built that trust with this season. It's just which one is going to show up tonight and perform. They all have to work together. But I'm liking the 3 wide receiver core out here right now for the Greyhounds with Bellin, Williams, and Carson Mace, and Drew Pemberton kind of working that wide receiver slot and backfield.
Carmel moving the chains well already. We've seen strong first half offense from this team as the next ball goes to Nate Williams. He's trying to get around some defenders, gets gobbled up right there short of the 1st down.
Yeah,
actually make that just enough for a 1st down. Carmel continues to move these chains. Some explosive offense that we're seeing.
Yeah, the start of this drive, it did not look too good for the Greyhounds being back in the red zone. 2nd and 21, big run from Conner, which has kind of carried this momentum up the field. And as you know, we're at Lawrence Central's 35. So key positioning here for the Greyhounds. Definitely could sell for a field goal, but want to get that touchdown early, get some more momentum going.
Yeah, we've seen it consistently where Carmel's able to keep up with their opponents early in the first half, but once that 3rd quarter hits, they sort of run out of steam, and that's when games get out of hand. Next ball goes to Craig Kepler, his 1st carry of the evening for some positive yards. Going to bring up 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, kind of what you were saying, Noah. We've seen the Carmel Greyhounds really have explosive first quarters, looking like they can hang, they can stay in the game. Then the second, they kind of start to fizzle, and then second half is just, it seems like they just fall apart, and the Greyhounds don't know what they're doing. So I feel like it could be a similar situation tonight where they show up early, they give all that they have, but just kind of run out of steam as the game goes on.
Kepler again with a carry short of the 1st down. It's going to bring up 3rd down and medium in field goal range. And that's been a big issue all this year is the kicking unit for the Carmel Greyhounds. Lucas Christian Murphy has been doing most of the kicking, but Matthew Obermeyer's been called upon when needed. We've seen some yips out of Lucas Christian Murphy, but like you were saying during pregame, most of that has really not been his fault.
Yeah, the Carmel Greyhounds have really put him in the tough positions that if they would have planned to do something else, that would not have happened. So you definitely cannot put him blame there. Yeah, a lot of people blamed him for the Brebeuf game, missing those 2 kicks, but that game should have not come down to those 2 kicks. So he cannot eat himself up about that.
3rd and 5, Colner finds Jake Bellin. Bellin, his 1st reception of the game. That's enough for a 1st down, and Carmel is cooking inside the red zone now here on their opening drive.
Yeah, Anthony Conner has already found all of his wide receiving starting targets so far tonight, which is a good sign. Getting those guys their touches, getting them comfortable, spreading out the love, making sure that everyone is getting those touches and kind of settling into this game.
Colner coming into tonight just over 1,700 pass yards on the season. He's been setting records all year as his next pass sails above the heads and the outreaching hands of Nate Williams that'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, the coverage on Nate Williams has been quite kind of off on him, which is surprising because when he gets the ball in space, he's able to use that space to get more yardage.
Right.
So I would put a guy tighter on Nate Williams, maybe put a secondary guy more out if he takes off, gets around that first defender. But
yeah,
definitely want to. They're giving him about 10 yards of space here.
The hardest thing about
zone.
guarding Nate Williams is not keeping him from catching the ball. It's stopping him once he has the ball. 2nd down and 10. Colner some time to throw. Pocket now collapses. Lots of Bears around him. Colner moving left side. He's got some room to run now. Colner, he's going to try to take it himself. Slammed down to the ground after a gain of maybe 6 or 7. Not the play they drew up there. That's going to bring up 3rd down and short. And this might be a position where you might think about going for it on 4th down. 3rd down and 4, but you're sitting at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, definitely not the play that Carmel was looking for, but Colner was able to kind of escape the pocket there, find a way out to the left. We see Colner coming off the field. Looks like Nate Williams might be taking the snap here for the Greyhounds.
They're going to run Wildcat with Nate Williams. We've seen them do this with Dom Shockley, but that was much closer to the end zone. Williams, it's a keeper. He's got a 1st down, trying to find the end zone, just short. But that is exactly how they drew it up for this Carmel offense. Nate Williams takes it himself. And Carmel has 1st and goal on the 1-yard line.
Yeah, it's such a tough call to defend because you have both Nate Williams and Drew Pemberton. You don't really know which one they're going to. Nate Williams takes it up the middle, but he also had the option to hand it up to Pemberton if Pemberton thought he had a path, but Nate Williams saw that path up through the middle and puts the Greyhounds up on the 1-yard line. It looks like they might do a little Philly special tush push here.
Yeah, Colner's still not in the game, but Williams takes it himself, goes untouched into the end zone. And this place erupts for the 1st touchdown of the game.
Yeah, that's great start for the Greyhounds. Now the Greyhounds have to continue to use this momentum. As we see already early on in this game, AC from Channel 8 is here for the student section. Finally seeing some energy from the student section. It's been kind of quiet so far, even though we've been marching on the field. But AC came at the perfect time, right when we get the touchdown. The Greyhounds in for a kick.
That's Williams' 6th touchdown on the year, his 1st as a rusher. Now this PAT set to put Carmel up by 7. Through the upright and a 7-point early lead for Carmel.
Yeah, that's a good start there for Christian Worthy, getting that first field goal under his belt, making him comfortable, letting him settle into his game. We've seen some struggles from him, not being fully comfortable the last couple of weeks, but that is really big for Christian Worthy. Lawrence Central was actually pretty close to blocking that kick, though. It was a little bit closer for comfort. So O-line needs to give Christian Worthy that comfort that he needs back there, knowing that his kick won't be blocked and that he has the time and space to do what he needs to do to succeed.
So Carmel strikes first, and we're set to see this first drive from the LC Bears and Terry Walker III, who last week went 10 of 21, 155 yards, had 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He has stepped up big time when Lawrence Central has needed it in his first year at the helm of the quarterback position.
Yeah, the Lawrence Central, I'm really excited to see what they bring in their offensive core. We can see that they have 2 tight ends, not usual for most offenses. Definitely something to look out for.
Yeah, this was definitely one of the strangest teams to prepare for going into this week. Lawrence Central has a very unique way that they run things. And so it'll be interesting to see how this works out, both on the offense and the defense. Student section full of life so far. 7-0 Hounds. 5:19 left to play in the first quarter. Lucas Christian Murphy's set to send it away. And we'll see what this Carmel defense is made out of. They've had plenty of injuries this year.
Yeah, plenty of injuries from the Greyhounds defense. We've seen Carter Grayson go down with some leg injuries. John Lucachel with a leg injury too. That's probably the biggest loss on the defensive end for the Greyhounds.
Kickoff is bobbled by the Bears, quickly recovered, but whistle dead. So some issues on special teams for both sides trying to hold on to the football.
Yeah, some more injuries on the defensive end for the Greyhounds. We see Chase Jarrett. He's leading the team in solo tackles and points on the defense for those tackles and assisted tackles. We also have Colton Hunt, who's seen a little bit of defensive time, more of a special teams guy playing those minutes. Will Massey, we've seen him go out this week, 2 weeks ago, and Ozzie Pollard also out with a similar injury to John-Luc Achell with the ACL tears. That has really hurt the Greyhounds, both Ozzie Pollard and John-Luc Achell, two guys that would have been key players for the Greyhounds on the defense.
Lawrence Central out in their all gray uniforms. So a bit of an interesting contrast, both of these teams. Carmel wearing all gray with the gold helmets, and the Bears sporting a similar but lighter color scheme tonight. Whistles signal, and first offensive drive for the Bears tonight. Rockel, he'll pass. Finds a man cutting along the sideline. That's Okocha. And he's got some positive yards to start this drive. A gain of about 6 for LC.
Yeah, this is going to be a good test for the Greyhounds defense. Kind of put some of their guys into some positions that they haven't seen this season, as some guys are having to fill in. Really get those guys that are going to have to fill in next week, too, against the sectional at Zionsville. Get those guys those minutes. Get them comfortable with the program and the defensive scheme.
Next play is a handoff to Parks, but the play is dead. And a flag is thrown on the field. We'll see where they... It's going to be a false start on the Bears, pinning them back further than they were.
Similar start here to what the Greyhounds saw. Basically the same field position as the Greyhounds started in their own resident now. Lawrence Central in the same kind of similar situation as the Greyhounds. It's definitely key for the Greyhounds defense, though, as Lawrence Central is back to 2nd and 9.
Second and 9 for Lawrence Central. 3 receivers on the left side for Terry Walker III. They went to Parks on the ground on that last play before it was blown dead. We'll see if they go back to him. He has been a force to be reckoned with. Last year when Carmel and Lawrence Central played each other, he was the only returning player with a touchdown. As the next play is batted away by the Hounds. Drew Cannon in pursuit there, had to go off his fingertips. That brings up 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, if Drew Cannon would have been able to hit that ball a bit more, Aaron Fedorcha was back there. That could have been an early pick for the Greyhounds, which would have been a huge momentum boost. But this 3rd down here is key for the Greyhounds. Must get a stop here early, get the ball back, and see what you can do on the offensive side again, as we saw very effective things from them early on in this game.
First 3rd down test for this defense. That's been a point of struggle all year, is getting that 3rd consecutive stop. 3rd down and 9 for the Bears, 4:44 on the clock. Carmel leading 7-0 after their opening drive, resulting in a Nate Williams touchdown. Walker will take it, looking to air it out, pocket collapsing. Here comes the Hounds, and he goes down. Eugenio Ojada and Caden Bauer sharing the tackle there. That'll bring up 4th down and 3. And Lawrence Central has nothing to do but send out the punt unit.
Yeah, the punt unit coming out for Lawrence Central. Greyhounds to return. We've seen some faulty things from special teams, more on the kickoffs more so, because on the punts we only have Pemberton and Nate Williams back here to receive. Not as many guys that we play to on a kickoff return.
Pemberton and Williams set to receive. Punt nearly blocked. That's been a strength of Carmel in recent seasons, is the ability to block kicks. That one very close, and the ball will be spotted in LC territory. So excellent field position to start for Anthony Colliner and Carmel's offensive 2nd drive. Very short field to play with.
Yeah, very short field to play with. Right where the Greyhounds want to be. I mean, they don't have to do much work here to go down and score. They're in perfect field position, kind of same areas as they've been at this first drive. I think the Greyhounds have a great chance to go down here and score. Just need to look for those wide receivers, Nate Williams, Jake Bellin. Maybe throw it deep downfield. We haven't seen many deep plays yet. more looking at those short passes and run game early here.
Now, we've mentioned how Carmel's second half has sort of run out of steam, and so this could be potentially a great start. Is if you can rattle off a whole lot of points in the first half, it's less of a concern if you run out of energy in the second half. Now, hopefully, Carmel plays 4 quarters tonight, but we've seen that that's been a struggle all year. So if they can get this second consecutive score, get it to be a 2-possession lead, it's definitely a positive spot you want to see Carmel in.
Yeah, we've seen them get usually a 1 score lead and then kind of ties back up and kind of goes back and forth. But if the Greyhounds take that step this time from getting 2 possessions, maybe 3 ahead, maybe kind of certifying themselves further ahead than what we kind of seen them just going back and forth with previous teams.
For sure. Corner to pass, flag comes in before the play can even commence. Similar to what we saw on the false start by Lawrence Central, but this time it's once again on the Bears. Somebody jumped a little bit too early and some free yards for Carmel.
That'll bring up a 2nd and 3 for the Greyhounds. Have 2-3 plays here potentially. Just, I'd say, go with run game. Give it to Pemberton. Let them just run up the middle, get that first down, and keep driving down the field and seeing what options you have. Maybe even looking deep downfield here, kind of throw off Lawrence Central of what they might think might be a run game call here.
Robert Cross comes in at left tackle for Carmel. Ball is handed off for Pemberton. He's got enough for a first down, but a flag comes in. Looks like they're going to call it a holding on Carmel.
Yeah, it's a tough call for the Greyhounds as Pemberton was able to get that first down there, but just Greyhounds are going to be set right back to where they were the previous 2nd down.
Yeah, there's the holding call, and so what was 2nd and 3 is not going to be 2nd and longer, and you take away that first down from Drew Pemberton, and this is where you start to slow down your own momentum, because when you have that very explosive first drive, you move the chains with ease, and then you get a defensive stop. Your next job is to bounce back and get another scoring drive on the board. And so dumb penalties like that are going to push you back even further and give Lawrence Central a chance to get back in this game.
Yeah, definitely don't want to give it any opportunity to see the ball get back in this game. Want to kind of hit them hard, hit them early.
Williams with another reception, trying to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of 2 or 3 there, but it's going to bring up 3rd down and long. 3rd and 9 is the spot for this upcoming play, and another pivotal 3rd down for the Hounds.
Yeah, the Greyhounds are going to be forced to look a little bit deeper than they have been looking at this game. Maybe look at Jake Bellum. He's been a lot of catches and has made good plays down the field a lot this season for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, so far this crucial option has been just letting Anthony Colner run with it, but he's been a little injury prone throughout this year, so I'm not sure how much you want to let him run the ball. He dumps it off to Pemberton. Pemberton trying to get some green grass in front of him, fighting for a first down, and it looks like he got enough.
Yeah, that was an absolute fight there from Drew Pemberton. He really wanted to get that first down after his previous one got taken away on that 2nd and 3 where there was a holding call. So good for Drew Pemberton to get that first down back that he had earned previously.
And it's nice to see this Carmel offense not just falling down on their belly once they get a 3rd down. But another holding call on Carmel will pin them back even further. And so back-to-back Drew Pemberton first downs are being brought back due to holding from this Carmel offense.
Yeah, if I'm Drew Pemberton, I'd be really annoyed right now with my holding core and making sure that they're not holding, just blocking properly and letting him get those first downs when he has them and not continue to set him back, as that's really brutal for the Greyhounds, putting more effort and work on his plate.
So the biggest test of the night, not just for the offense, but specifically this offensive line. You are 31 yards away from a first down. You need to give Anthony Colner as much time as he wants to get rid of this ball. If you're going to make him rush it, if you're going to make him scramble with it, you're not getting the first down. And so this offensive line going to need to step up in a big way on this. Unsure what they're calling this, because the score says 2nd and 20, but on the field they're marking this a 3rd down. I believe it should be a 3rd down, but the scoreboard officiator has it different. And officials are discussing right now. All right, we're marking it 3rd and 20. 2:19 left to play in the first. Officials still discussing. They're going to mark it on the right hash. But like we were just talking about, this is a big job for the offensive line. 4 receivers out for Carmel. Bellin on the right side. You got Williams, you got Woodward, and I believe that's Carson Mace on the far end of your screen.
Yeah, the Carmel Greyhounds have not looked super deep yet this game, so this is going to be their first kind of test here to see what their ability is to go deep with the ball in a crucial position, being 3rd and 20. Definitely not ideal early on in this game.
And that's going to be a jump, I believe, on the defense.
Penalty marker down.
Yeah, and there's some more free yards for Carmel getting it back. So it's going to be a shorter field to play with. 3rd down and 15 now. What was 3rd down and 20.
Yeah, that seems so unnecessary from Lawrence Central. No need to jump there, really.
Yeah, I mean,
you have him pinned back in.
You know he's not running the ball.
Yeah.
You almost play prevent defense there when you have such a deep field.
Yeah, the blitz there seemed definitely unnecessary and super early. You don't need to go early. You'll have plenty of time to get to the quarterback.
Still 3rd and long. Bears trying to time up this snap. Snap is low. Colner recovers. He's got some pressure coming. Gets rid of it. Finds Bellin on the sideline, but he is short of the first down. It's going to bring up about 4th down and 4. But we're in an interesting spot here because this might be a tall task for the leg of Lucas Christian Murphy. So Carmel's going to keep the offense on the field, trying to get just 4 yards for a first down and keep this drive going.
Yeah, I think you got to go back to Drew Pemberton. We've seen him already have those 2 first downs getting taken away from him, but we've seen him being able to get to that first down marker. Just feed him the ball, see what he can do on this 4th and 4. 4 yards for Drew Pemberton is usually a quite easy task.
Corner pass once again, dumps it off to Pemberton. He's got some room to run, makes one man miss, makes another man miss. First down and a whole lot more for Drew Pemberton, and Carmel approaching the red zone here with just under 2 to play in the first half, trying to add on to the 7-0 lead.
Yeah, huge game already for Drew Pemberton tonight. We've seen him get multiple touches. Kind of what we've seen earlier more on in the season for Drew Pemberton. That was a great run, wide open route out to the right, easy catch, easy first down, and much more onto that first down. Great call by the Greyhounds on that 4th and 4 to go for it and not settle for a long field goal or a short punt.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the upsides of Drew Pemberton. It's just his availability to also be a receiver. And in that crucial moment, he was able to get that reception and get the first down for the Hounds. 1st and 10, ball goes to Jake Bellin for a modest gain of, looks like 9 yards on the play. 2nd and 1 coming up. Josiah Gilmore was in the backfield there at running back. We've seen limited snaps for Craig Kepler, despite this also being his senior night and his usage throughout this year. We have not seen a whole lot of Craig.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's due to the fact that Pemberton is here this season. He has been an absolute dominant force for the Greyhounds the entirety of the season. Some games being a little bit lack of what he normally is, but tonight he was already able to step up into this role, and he's been playing really well. I think the Carmel Greyhounds need to get him the ball much more than they have been already.
Another penalty comes in on the Hounds. Going to be unsportsmanlike conduct. And that's just been a plague of penalties so far tonight for Carmel. As soon as you see some positive yards, some productive drives, they do something like that pins them back further than they should be.
Yeah, definitely unnecessary from the Greyhounds. No need to have unsportsmanlike conduct, especially once you get into your own or the opponent's red zone territory. Want to be staying away from those kind of penalties and really just more looking at your team and not yourself, being unselfish and looking for the betterment of the team, trying to get them down the field and get to that scoring position.
So the ball's going to be spotted almost to midfield, and so they're calling this 1st down and 30 for Carmel, and they've had some massive fields to play with so far tonight. The first one we saw earlier, they were able to overcome thanks in part to some penalties on the Lawrence Central Bears, but this is another task It's hard to see him knock down 2 in a row, but we'll see if Carmel can bounce back from this 1st and 30. Gilmore in the backfield. 2 receivers on either side of Anthony Colner. He'll pass, blitz coming, dumps it off to Gilmore, and he can't hold on to it. Pass was low at his ankles, but Josiah Gilmore still unable to haul it in. 2nd down and 30 coming up.
Yeah, definitely a tough position right up for the Greyhounds to be in. 2nd down and 30, we've seen similar positions already. The Greyhounds have found a way to get these first downs, but this is a tall task. 2nd and 30, they've already been on the field for a while. They're probably starting to get tired a little bit out there as they've been making that forward progress and then just continue to get set back every time it seems they get to that first down marker.
We've seen Aaron Orhood warming up as a punter on the sideline, which is interesting. We've seen a lot of Lucas Christian Murphy doing the punting, but it's good to see the junior potentially getting some reps in tonight. Colner to pass once again, pocket collapsing, he loses the football. Howland's offensive line trying to pick it back up. Looks like they will, but nothing good going on for this Carmel offense. Excellent defense by Humphrey for the Bears, knocking that ball loose. So they'll bring up 3rd down and very long.
Yeah, now the Greyhounds are working into their own territory as we've seen them get all the way up to about the 25-24. Now they're back to their own territory. Definitely we haven't seen. Being 3rd and 37 might be the longest drive of yardage that the Greyhounds need to get in one snap this season.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you think about it now is, do you air it out? Do you try to get those 37 yards, or do you just put the ball on the ground and surrender this drive? Colner will pass. Pocket collapses once again. His helmet comes off. Actually make that a Bear helmet coming off. Robertson loses his cap, but he gets the sack as this Lawrence Central defense makes a fantastic stand to cap off this very weird drive.
Yeah, a lot different outlook for the Greyhounds that drive than what we seen in the first drive. Lots of setbacks for the Greyhounds. If they don't have those setbacks, we could have definitely seen a little bit of a different result.
So it is Christian Murphy doing the punting still. Just over 20 seconds left to play in this first quarter. And more penalties coming in against the Hounds. So another false start, going to make this a longer punt. So I guess you could say it's the least harmful penalty we've seen so far from Carmel.
Yeah, but I mean, the penalties are continuing to add up at this point for majority of the Greyhounds. We have seen a couple from Lawrence Central, but this is by far the most penalties we've seen this early on in the game. This quarter has been a really, really long quarter because of these penalties. It seems like has been taking a lot of time for the officials to kind of figure out the ball placement and yardage.
Strong special teams from the Lawrence Central Bears, nearly blocking that kick. Ball will scurry down near the LC 20. And that's where they'll start their second offensive drive with Terry Walker coming back out. Only 6 yards in the air for the young man on his opening drive. But he's definitely capable of rattling off a few productive drives and getting Lawrence Central on the board here.
Yeah, if the defense is able to kind of show up like they did the last drive and get that quick stop, continue not to let Lawrence Central get that field position that they are trying to get up the field, kind of limit them back into their own red zone. I think the Greyhounds defense is going to have to be the key factor tonight because the offense has already shown a little bit of shakiness after the second drive. First drive looked very promising, but that second drive is making the Greyhound fan base a little bit more nervous.
1st and 10, ball goes to Parks. He's got a gain of about 5 there for the Bears. Karan Parks with his first real carry. And that'll do it for the first quarter here on CHTV. Carmel up 7-0. A very slow first quarter like you mentioned.
Yeah, very slow for the Greyhounds. That seemed like one of the longest quarters maybe even this season. Just with so many penalties, a little bit of confusion here and there from the officials kind of figuring out where the ball needs to be placed. The Greyhounds continue to get set back. I think the next drive for the Greyhounds, we do not want to be seeing any more penalties as that's really been hurting them. as if they didn't have those penalties, they could have been in a much better field position than they were. Definitely unsportsmanlike conduct, sets them back 20 yards, which is just a super brutal call. It only makes it seem impossible for the Greyhounds to get to that first down marker.
So a fresh 12 coming on the clock as these teams will switch sides. And we saw kind of two different Carmel teams between those two offensive drives. That first drive, we used the word explosive a lot. Moving the chains with ease, getting a lot of positive yards from a lot of guys, being able to air the ball out. Even the offensive line was perfect, giving Anthony Coleman the time that he needed and the space when he wanted to run the ball. But that second drive, the complete opposite happened for Carmel. As this next play for Lawrence Central, Karan Parks running it well past the line to gain, moving the chains once again. Moving the chains partner for the first time tonight for the Bears.
Yeah, the Greyhounds defense has had a tough time kind of stopping some of these previous running backs that have been dominant. We saw Burbuff and Ben Davis both having dominant running backs. The Carmel Greyhounds didn't really have answers for either one of them.
They give it right back to him. Parks just short of the first down, but gain of about 8 there. And like you said, guarding these running backs has been the biggest issue for Carmel's defense. Besides injuries, we can say is the #1 issue for this defense this year. That's been the biggest struggle, is simply just staying healthy and staying on the field. But after that, it's preventing the run. We see guys like C.J. Harris come into Carmel Stadium and have career nights because the defense is incapable of stopping the run game. And of course, they give it right back to him, and there's a first down for Lawrence Central. Good in getting the carry there, so giving Parks a break. So Lawrence Central digging into their bag of running backs. Both Parks and Gooden strong options when Lawrence Central wants to keep it on the ground. They give it back to Gooden. He gets maybe a yard or two. A flag comes in, potentially a late hit on Carmel.
Yeah, Carmel keeps on giving up potential dumb penalties that they need to stay away from, hurting them on both sides of the ball, setting them back on the offense, and giving the Lawrence Central offense better field position.
They haven't called it yet, but I believe it was Emmanuel Griffin who had the face mask there. So that's going to give the Bears some positive yards as they already cross midfield. 1 minute gone here in this second quarter. And Lawrence Central in position to strike right back and tie this ball game up. Karan Parks back in at running back. Terry Walker has not passed on this drive. Gives it right back to Karan Parks. Parks with a first down. Stumbling down near the Carmel 30-yard line, and he's got another first down.
I feel like the rules have kind of switched here for the offenses. They don't really see anything from Lawrence nor Earth the first possession, but now they've kind of really turned it around. Now they're looking like the more explosive offense, more so than the Greyhounds are looking.
Well, and they figured out that you don't have to pass the ball against this Carmel defense. They have only run plays so far on this drive. Terry Walker has been sitting at 6 passing yards since early in this game. Clock continues to run under 11 minutes here in this first half. Handoff goes once again to Parks. He's short of the first down, but Carmel unable to stop him with limited damage. 2nd down and 6.
Now, Noah, what do you think the Carmel Greyhounds are going to have to do to be able to stop this run game, as we've just seen them continue to struggle out? They haven't really seemed to find an answer here the last couple of weeks.
Well, you would think realistically that when Lawrence Central keeps pounding the ball on the ground, Carmel can figure it out and start to guess that they're going to keep putting the ball on the ground. And so that was a gain of 4 right there by Karan Parks. One of the shortest gains that we've seen so far on the ground by the Bears. And so hopefully that's a sign of Carmel figuring it out a little bit and being able to predict if the ball's going to stay in the run game. Walker finally decides to throw it here on this drive. Finds a man well short of the first down. Tarika Kocha with the reception there, his 2nd of the night. Dylan Gold gets the stop there. We talked about him in the pre-show during senior night and just the step up he's made as 3rd down and 6 coming up. Another chance for this Carmel defense to get a big stop. You're hovering around field goal range, but we've seen that Lawrence Central has limited trust in their kicker. As Karan Parks gets the ball once again, breaks through the first down, breaks through the secondary, and he's down inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal, Bears coming up.
Yeah, definitely one of those another guys like C.J. Harris, Karan Parks, already having a big game. I expect a lot more from him as he's just been absolutely dominant. The Greyhounds have not found an answer. The Greyhounds need to send some more guys and kind of more surround him and not let him get that yardage that he's been easily able to get so far in this game.
1st and goal at the 9. They give it back to Parks, but play is blown dead. Flags on the field. We'll see what they decide it's on. They're going to false start on Lawrence Central, so a lucky break for Carmel. Pinning the Bears outside of their own 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal with about 14 to go. But still, with the way that this run game has been going for Lawrence Central, should not be an issue. Still 1st and goal. Parks with it. Plenty of room to run. Gets one blocker. Stiff arms Nate Williams, and Williams finally pulls him out of bounds after a gain of about 10. They'll spot him right around the 5-yard line. So 2nd and goal now for the Bears. And Carmel still has no answers for Karan Parks.
Yeah, we're already seeing Nate Williams get action on both sides of the ball, getting some key catches early, and now some key stops on the defensive half, playing that cornerback position that we've kind of been seeing him switch out in.
2nd and goal, Parks gets the ball. They're going to say he's short by about 2 yards. Make that Gooden actually the ball carrier there. So 3rd and goal at the 2 coming up, and another chance for this Carmel 3rd down defense to prove themselves worthy of a 4-5 record. Lawrence Central working quickly. They give it back to Parks, and he's stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. Carmel's defense stepping up in a big way.
Yeah, it was a great stop there by Jimmy Wimbush. He really just read exactly what Lawrence Central was going to do. He was right there to attack. Big loss there for Lawrence, and Jimmy Wimbush was a great read there for the Greyhounds on the defensive end.
Wimbush, a guy who has been a rock in this Carmel defense all year, getting the stop there. 4th down sirens blare out here in Carmel Stadium, but it looks like they're sending the kicking team out, just trying to get some points on the board.
Noah, you mentioned earlier that Lawrence hasn't even taken a field goal attempt yet this season, only extra points. So this is a very shocking kick here from Lawrence.
Yeah, short kick here that is good for Jordan, the sophomore kicker for Lawrence Central. And so we really get to see why they don't kick field goals here.
Yeah.
That ball was scraping the goalpost, but through the uprights, and a 3 points good for the Bears.
Yeah, that kick definitely had a lot of fans on the edge of their seats. Yeah, definitely kind of see why they stick more to going for those 4th and 4th, which I'm surprised they didn't do. Parks hasn't had less than a 4-yard pickup the entirety of this game. Just give him the ball, see what he can do. Worst case, Carmel's stuck back in their own territory and you don't get on the board, or you could tie it up. But Lawrence finally getting on the board in this game, 3-7. Carmel Greyhounds lead as they are about to return the ball for the 3rd time this game.
But like we've been talking about all tonight, that with it being senior night, there's 2 sides of that coin where you want your seniors to play, but you also want to give the young guys some time on the field. And so if you're Lawrence Central, you're in the same position that Carmel is, sitting at 3-5. Very low hopes for any championships this year. So letting Cooper Jordan get some reps at kicker. He's still only a sophomore, and so giving him these chances under the lights here on Friday, definitely sort of a second win for Lawrence Central. You get the points, but you also get the experience for your young guys. And he'll also do the kickoffs here for Lawrence Central. We saw his first kick not very strong.
Yeah, definitely going to be another interesting kick, which actually could work in their favor because the Carmel Greyhounds have had a lot of troubles lately with these short kicks. So, yeah, maybe some look at it as the Carmel Greyhounds get some good field advantage.
Anybody not named Nate Williams or Drew Pemberton have had some issues holding on to the ball
Exactly,
on kickoff.
yes. And if I'm Carmel, I'm taking these guys, Nate Williams, in the back and moving them up to about the 20 probably.
For sure.
Because this guy, I don't think he can get it to the 20 almost.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not. Line drive kick goes just around the 20-yard line. Williams will take it out, breaking through some defenders, gets it down right around the 35-yard line. Full head of steam for Nate Williams and some solid field to start for Anthony Colner.
Yeah, Carmel Greyhounds have been kind of blessed with a lot of good starting field advantage. Yeah, they want to keep staying away, or they need to stay away from getting more penalties that have set them back into their own red zone. Let the offense kind of get a drive going, get some momentum going, as they had a tough second drive with so many penalties being called.
Officials talking to the Carmel offensive line and Cade Clark in particular, but we're all set now. Play clock continuing to run despite the conversations. First play of the drive is a handoff to Drew Pemberton, but a flag comes in on the play. I'm going to throw out a wild guess and say it's holding on the Carmel offense.
Yeah, I already saw the official go holding on the offense. Exactly what I was talking about, what the Greyhounds don't need to do, and they continue to do it. And I haven't seen this many holding calls from them almost the entire season.
Right.
So I'm not sure if the official is just really tight this game, really kind of getting down on these penalty holding calls before sectionals start in 2 weeks for the Greyhounds and Lawrence Central, maybe kind of getting them more prepared for some tougher refs the rest of the season. But, I mean, I've never seen this many holding calls for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, and you think it'd be a bit of a wake-up call for this Carmel offensive line to say, hey, I know what I did. I know they're calling it. Stop holding on to the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, if they see it now, they're going to call it. So you really got to be careful. Yeah, you want your guy to get the most field position that you can, but you also don't want to set your team back.
2nd and 20, Colner, some time to pass, gets rid of it, finds Drew Pemberton. Pemberton across the original line of scrimmage, maybe about 6 yards short of the first down line. And a productive play that was not drawn up like that for Carmel.
Yeah, and the entirety of the offense from the Greyhounds so far tonight has seemed to be ran through Drew Pemberton, kind of in that running back slot, and usually kind of works his way out, maybe finding a catch or having the running back position. But a lot of touches for him early, which is good to see, because when he gets the ball, the Carmel Greyhounds have had a lot more success earlier on the season.
Sean Fox had the stop there for Lawrence Central. Both Fox brothers on the field for the Bears. 2nd and 6. Colner finds Bellin, but short of the first down. They're going to spot him about 3 yards from the line to gain. So 3rd and manageable coming up for the Hounds. Think they put the ball on the ground again?
I think they should go back to a little short out route from Drew Pemberton. It's worked about 3 times already tonight. The Bears haven't really found a way to stop that play action from Drew Pemberton in the backfield.
Williams in motion, and he draws some movement on the Lawrence Central defensive line. Number 5, Fox on the penalty there. So we just mentioned the first Fox brother, Sean, and now Steve draws the penalty there. And so a fresh set of downs for Carmel.
Yeah, and that's his second false start of the night. We saw him on the previous drive where the Greyhounds were set back to about 3rd and 30. He jumped the gun again here. I mean, that seems really odd that they have him on a 3rd and 3. Yeah, you want to get to the quarterback, but you don't want to jump early and just give them that first down, and you want to make them earn that first down.
Al Gooden, the running back, replaces Fox in the secondary. Colner, plenty of time, airs it out deep downfield, finds Jake Bellin for a big gain. Thankfully, no flags on the field for Carmel, as that's been their biggest enemy so far tonight. But some clean plays result in a first down for Carmel, and Jake Bellin with the biggest play of the night.
Yeah, that just shows the chemistry that Bellin and Colner have had throughout the entirety of the season. and that they're going to stick with through to the next season. That's a great find from Anthony Colner, leading Jake Bellin to the space, leading to Jake Bellin where he wanted to be led to. So great read from Anthony Colner to find Jake Bellin right over the defender's head to let him get that ball and not be picked off.
The student section finds some more life after the big play by Carmel. First down and 10, past the 30-yard line. Corner to throw again. Pocket collapses. He's moving left, trying to find out of bounds, and he does. And a late hit coming in. Robertson once again gets the flag thrown. I think there could be multiple penalties there. Robertson not only had the late hit, but there seemed to be some taunting after the hit.
Yeah, stepping over Colner and hitting him late definitely seems unnecessary. We see Colner is still down on the ground. Or no, sorry, that's just a spectator down on the ground as Colner ran into him.
Yeah, Brian Robertson subbed out by his coach, and so definitely some notice being taken by both sidelines.
This is going to be some really good field position here for the Greyhounds, right in Lawrence red zone. I mean, the Greyhounds have a great position here to at least get a field goal and maybe even a touchdown, extending their lead here as we're getting closer to half with 5:50 left here in the second quarter.
Kyron Jones, the new defensive lineman for the Bears, as timeout is called on the field, and these officials will discuss what to do about this play, as there's still need for some medical attention on the sideline.
Definitely not what the medical team thought they were going to be tending to tonight. Definitely more thinking of the player's side, but the sideline is a dangerous area to be standing taking pictures. Some of our CHTV members down there, so you got to be careful there.
Colts and Titans game last week where there was a play where Will Levis runs out of bounds and he runs over a ball boy, and the ball boy needed to be carted off the field.
Yeah, I mean, these NFL players, college, high school guys, they're all pretty big and strong. So when they're running at you full force, you really got to look out for them coming at you. And I mean, the referees always told me when I've been down on the sideline to kind of move back, and this kind of goes to show why, because you can be hit really hard and right when you're not expecting it either.
Yeah, we saw our very own Caroline Petrie take a hard hit a few weeks back. Anthony Colner ran out of bounds right at her. So definitely a dangerous job just being a spectator on this field.
Yeah, definitely. You want to be down there for the fun of it until it doesn't turn to your fun when you're the one down on the field, when you definitely thought you were just going to come here tonight and enjoy a fun game.
So with the penalty yards, they're going to spot the ball at the Bear 9-yard line. So first and goal coming up for Carmel once we can sort out this injury on the field. Not what either team wants to see tonight. It's a little understanding when you see a player get hurt because you understand the risk and the sacrifice that they need, but you hate to see a spectator get a hit like this. Greyhound sideline will get up and make their way back to their assumed positions. We see Ozzie Pollard take a seat on the bench. He's been a very noticeable scratch throughout this season. John-Luke Getchell following nearby. He has a similar situation. You hate to see the two of them sitting on the bench and not on the field.
Yeah, definitely looks like it still could be another while as the Greyhound offense has now come down to about their 50-yard line as the ball's marked at Lawrence Central's 9-yard line. So, I mean, it looks like the Greyhounds are kind of settling in and ready to take a little bit of a longer extended breather here as this injury on the sideline has taken a little bit of an extended timeout than the Greyhounds were expecting.
Yeah, this is definitely a shift in momentum potentially. Carmel's offense seemed to be rolling at this point, but when they got to take a break, you kind of halt that momentum. We'll see how they can respond, if they can refocus that energy, or if this is going to be a key point where Lawrence Central is able to bounce back with this defense and keep the game close. Still no sign of standing.
Definitely something we have not seen
this is
before here. I mean, this might be the longest.
One of the longest injuries I've seen, and it's not even a player.
Not even a player. I mean, this might be like one of the longest between quarter and half breaks that we've had for this season. I mean, this gives a lot of time for the Greyhounds to kind of get their plan together, what they want to run, only being 9 yards away from the touchdown. I mean, I think they got to go back to Drew Pemberton. He's been the solid rock of this game. Feed him the ball, get him his touches. When he gets the ball, let him find that space. But Greyhounds will have a lot of time here still, it seems, to kind of figure out what they want to do on their offensive scheme.
Eerily quiet as some applause coming in now from Hounds faithful. And she's on her feet now, getting into the cart, so good to see we didn't have to, cut this game short for any reason.
Yeah, definitely extended break, something that the Greyhounds didn't really want to happen, obviously, but kind of slows down the run and drive they've been having, the momentum they've had so far in this drive. So they're going to have to come back after that, it seemed about 5-minute break there for the Greyhounds, and really kind of finish out this drive that they've started back from their own 40.
So both sides now finally back on the field. 5:50 left to play in this first half. Carmel holding on to a 7-3 lead, hoping to add on here and potentially their last possession of this first half.
After the penalty, first and goal from the 9-yard line.
First and goal at the 9 for Anthony Colner and the Carmel Greyhounds. Pemberton in the backfield. Carmel stacking 3 receivers on the left side, very close to the ball. 1 receiver on the right at distance, that's Nate Williams. Potentially seeing him in the back of the end zone. Colner gets rid of it, trying to find Woodward, but the ball is bounced. So second down and goal coming up for Carmel.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the play call there was from the Greyhounds.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the idea was there. Even if he does catch the ball, he doesn't really have much space there to go. As
I think the hope was you can find Woodward and then you have a surplus of guys around him to sort of pave the way, but that's not what happened. And I really was hoping they would go to Nate Williams. He had a one-on-one with his defender.
Now we see Nate Williams back in the Wildcat with Pemberton. They've already done this once this game. Lawrence was definitely more ready for it that time, as they sent about like 10 guys and basically their entire defense there to blitz Nate Williams, as he had the handoff opportunity there with Drew Pemberton. It looks like he should have handed off to Pemberton. Pemberton kind of looked like he had a path out wide.
It almost feels like this Carmel offense is just sort of pulling out everything from the playbook that they were messing around with during practice on a rainy day. Like, it's a whole lot of plays that really have no direction, but they're just trying them out when you're in goal. It's so third and goal coming up at the 10. Hopefully Carmel going back to a more traditional play. 2 receivers on either side. 1 back behind Colner. He'll pass once again. Pocket collapsing. Getting manhandled is Anthony Colner, and the ball's picked off. Summers gets the interception. Flag comes in. Summers plenty of room to run. Has 1 man to beat. He cannot beat him, but DJ Summers brings the ball all the way to the Carmel 45-yard line. So what was first and goal is an interception by these Lawrence Central Bears and DJ Summers. Still waiting for the result of this flag as Nate Williams limps off this field, and that is the worst case scenario for Carmel.
Yeah, we also see Drew Pemberton looking on the far sideline like he's about to go down, and he is going down.
Yep, he's doing some push-ups. So they're holding on the defense, but we'll see what this does to the interception if the holding is called after the pick. Carmel's offense looks like they have the life sucked out of them after that pivotal interception. DJ Summers reading it all the way, picking it off in the end zone, bringing it 45 yards deep out of the blue paint.
Yeah, unfortunately, that interception will not mean anything for him, as the Carmel Greyhounds will not be placed at the 2-yard line. It appears maybe even the 1.
It looks like they're spotted at the 1. Yeah, so they wipe away. Wait, hold on. So it is Lawrence Central ball. The interception counts, but the holding afterwards will pin the Bears at their own 1-yard line.
So the holding must have been after.
The holding was after the interception, but I wasn't sure if they were going to just discard the interception completely. So first down, ball's given back to Al Gooden. He gets some positive yards there, digging himself out of the trench.
Definitely a tough scene here for the Greyhounds too, as Drew Pemberton is still being tended to on the sideline. He's kind of been the Carmel Greyhounds' #1 guy throughout the entirety of this night. Now we see
there's a bear injury on the field.
Injuries keep on adding up here tonight at Carmel Stadium.
Unsure who it is at this point. We'll see if he can roll over.
This might be what the longest half.
This is going to be a long night for us.
Yes, this has been the longest half, it seems, so far, due to penalties, injuries on and off the field for both teams.
You think that these cheerleaders got to be tired of taking knees so far tonight.
Yes.
Only about 16 game minutes into this game, and we've had more than enough injuries for a whole season. Well, maybe not for a whole season if you're Carmel, because there's already 9 injuries coming into tonight.
Yes, 40% of the Carmel Greyhounds starters are out due to injuries. Pemberton going down and Nate Lim was going down, almost making that number to about 50%.
Finally get a read on this injury. That's Isaiah Scantlebury, offensive lineman, getting helped off the field. Unsure which leg he's favoring. It really just seems like a labored effort by the young man. So 2nd and 6 coming up now for Lawrence Central. They've relied heavily on the run game. We'll see if they keep the ball on the ground here on this possession. Potentially the last drive of this first half. Walker hands the ball off once again. Not a whole lot there for the Bears in Coron Parks. So 3rd and 4 coming up. Lawrence Central sharing snaps between Coron Parks and Al Gooden at the running back position. They've been the kryptonite so far for Carmel's defense, despite there being only 3 points on the board for Lawrence Central's Bears. These 2 running backs have proved to be very useful for the Bear offense.
Something I noticed here that the Greyhounds are packing in that D line a little bit more, maybe expecting that run game to come out from the Bears.
Walker will pass. Quick pass on the sideline, finds his man, trying to get that first down. It looked like he reached just enough for it, and it should be first down Bears. Davis with the reception there, his first of the night. So Davis hauls in the first down reception, and Lawrence Central moving very slowly, but still moving the chains here as the clock continues to run, approaching halftime.
Yeah, as this game has kind of moved really slow, the Bears might need to pick up their pace a little bit here, being in their own territory.
Yeah, that's a long way to go for just 3.5 minutes.
And as we've seen in this game, the Greyhounds offense only having 3 possessions, and like you said, there's only 3.5 minutes left in this game.
Walker slings it once again, but well out of the reach of Okocha.
And these
second and 10.
These incomplete passes are definitely not going to help the Bears find that progression up the field that they're looking for, although the clock is now stopped at 3:15.
Right. Yeah, it's second and 10. You might see them air it out a little bit further, trying to get the ball right around their own 40-yard line. It's probably a good place to be if you really are hoping to score on this drive. But at the same time, first downs are the goal here for Lawrence Central, just trying to keep the ball in their hands. Give it right back to the running back. He gets some yards there, but still well short of the first down. Clock continues to run. So Park's getting some more yards, but not a whole lot of aggression here from the Bears.
We do have Drew Pemberton on the sideline for the Carmel Greyhounds, kind of moving his legs out.
Doing some high knees.
Getting some high knees and getting some movement back in, some blood flow into his body. So hopefully he'll be back for the Greyhounds in the second half, unless the Carmel Greyhounds can get the ball back here late in the
plan was for Lawrence Central to hold on to the ball the rest of the half, but the way that they're playing right now is almost like they're planning on punting. Less than 2.5 to play in this first half. Walker, pressure comes. He escapes the pocket, spinning around defenders right around the line to gain. They're going to say he has enough for a first down. Yeah. Terry Walker, the third, doing it himself, and he moves the chains for the Bears.
It looks like the Greyhounds had him kind of trapped back in that pocket. He was able to work his way out. There was a Carmel defender, Aiden Dickerson, over on the far sideline that kind of backed off on the quarterback to kind of let him get that more space that he needed to get to that first down.
Flag comes in before the handoff to Parks. So another false start. We've seen plenty of those tonight. 2:10 left to play. And as soon as Lawrence Central got that first down, they pulled themselves further back of the new line to gain. Still far from midfield, still far from the red zone, and little to no scoring opportunities here for Lawrence Central. Still only 3 points on the board despite the strength of this offense we've seen so far. It really feels like there should be more points on the board.
Yeah, it should. I mean, this game has seemed like it's been going on for a long time. A lot of momentum from both teams.
Walker trying to escape the pocket, but he goes down. 3 Carmel defenders put him to the floor. Eugenio Ojada part of that effort. And Lawrence Central deep in their own territory now, right around the 1 or 2 yard line.
Yeah, like we said, we didn't think that Carmel would be able to get the ball back, but now it's definitely looking in their favor to receive the ball here one more time before the second quarter comes to a close. As Lawrence is now on their own 2 yard line, I would say now.
I would say the 2.
About the 3, maybe it looks like the 3. But yeah, definitely not ideal field position, being second and 32. We've seen these long drives coming from the Greyhounds, but we have not seen this yardage this far back for Lawrence.
This is very ideal for Carmel for multiple reasons. Not only because you know you're going to get the ball in excellent field position no matter who the other team is, but also because you know who the punter is for Lawrence Central. You have that sophomore in Cooper Jordan who's barely been able to send the ball 30 yards tonight. And so if you're going to force him deep in his own territory at their own 2 yard line, if you can get this stop here and you force the 16-year-old to use his leg, you're probably sitting at maybe 30, 35 yards from the end zone. You're going to be sitting right around field goal range after a punt, which is best case scenario for Carmel if you're trying to extend this lead going into halftime, knowing that Lawrence Central is getting the ball starting the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, the punt would put the Greyhounds in pretty good field position, but the Greyhounds still need to get these stops. Don't let them get that extra yardage. You want to keep them as far back as possible so that the punt can put the Greyhounds in some good territory.
Brown Parks gets the handoff. Not a whole lot there for him. 3rd and 30 coming up.
Yeah, definitely just want to set a couple of guys back, make sure they are not getting that first down. Now Carmel has to figure out a quick scheme here for the offense.
It's going to be a lot of prevent right here for Carmel.
Yes, for sure. I mean, Lawrence hasn't had more than a 15, 20-yard play yet. So
Right.
this should not be a problem for the Greyhounds.
Good in the running back in for Lawrence Central. We've seen just about equal opportunities between Parks and Gooden, still limited passes by this Bears team. Gooden gets the ball, maybe getting to his own 9-yard line, but this ideal situation could be happening for Carmel. Still 2 timeouts for the Hounds as they call one on the field. They're going to get the ball with right around a minute left in this half, hoping to make it a 2-score game.
Yeah, the Greyhounds just need to get to that field goal territory. Not a huge ask. I think it's something they're definitely capable of doing. They've had some good forward progress throughout this game. Unfortunate interception there to end the drive from Kohler, but that put Lawrence back in the red zone, and they worked a little bit up, but they just found themselves right back where they got the interception at.
Yeah, like you're saying, that flag on the interception proving to be pivotal for Lawrence Central. If there's no flag there and DJ takes it all the way to the 45-yard line, that's a very short field for Lawrence Central to play with. We could see them potentially in field goal range right now, making this a 1-point game. But instead, because of the penalty, Carmel's going to get the ball back. Still up by 4 and hoping to extend that lead. So Jordan on to punt for Lawrence Central. Williams receiving. We saw him take a hard hit earlier and sort of wobble off the field. Williams trying to make some moves around guys. Williams has some green grass in front of him. Whole lot of blockers. Nate Williams into the end zone. Nate Williams, his 2nd touchdown of the night. There is a flag on the field. And so the biggest enemy of the Hounds tonight could be back, as this penalty marker has potential to erase the most electric play of the evening.
Yeah, that was a huge play from Nate Williams. Caught the ball. He looked like he was kind of surrounded and trapped, but he was able to find a way out to the right sideline and
he's
kind of
limping
work
off the
out field.
Williams limping off the field, potentially, some of that adrenaline wearing off. We'll see what the officials decide to do with this penalty. .8 on the clock as of now. That has potential to change barring the result of this penalty. For now, it is a punt return touchdown. But it looks like it is for sure being brought back as Anthony Kohler and the Carmel offense coming onto the field. So not only is it not a touchdown, it is further back in enemy territory than they would like to be.
Yeah, definitely a huge momentum kill for the Greyhounds. Kind of wonder if that holding helped Nate Williams advance up the field. Was that holding call really necessary?
So looks like they'll spot the ball right around the LC 41-yard line. Still manageable for this Carmel offense. We've seen the ability of Anthony Kohler's arm tonight and all year. He has his weapons, 2 on either side. Pemberton in the backfield. Nice to see him healthy. Kohler will pass. Pocket collapses once again. Kohler moving left. Gets rid of it. Goodward trying to haul in the ball, but unable to make the connection. So 2nd and 10 now. 47.5 on the clock. And this whole Carmel team seems to be limping.
Yeah, I mean, injuries just keep on continuing to hurt the Greyhounds, having to go deeper and deeper into their cores on the offensive and defensive. Nate Williams still into the game for the Greyhounds. Looks like there's going to be a false start on the Greyhounds, moving them back even further.
So Carmel trying to not even kick a field goal to end this half. A blatant false start by, I believe that was Jake Bellin up at the top of your screen.
Yeah, it seems like the Greyhounds are just trying to set a record for penalties here tonight.
Yeah.
It seems like they've had more penalties tonight than they've had almost the entirety of the season. I mean, penalties every other play, it seems, and it's just hurting the Greyhounds' field advantage so much.
We're sitting at 1 hour and 22 minutes on this game so far tonight, and it's not even halftime. It's been a long night for both teams, and that's entirely due to the yellow flags on the field. 2nd and 15, ball spotted at the LC 46-yard line. Carmel still one timeout and plenty of time to put the ball deep downfield, trying to salvage this drive. But it has been ugly so far for Carmel, starting with the punt return touchdown being brought back. Now another penalty. A drop pass. Nothing going well for the Hounds on this drive. Colner, with some time, gets rid of it. Nearly picked off. Bellin was the target. Summers nearly had an interception trying to avenge the one he had in the end zone just moments ago.
Yeah, and just when we thought Lawrence might not see the ball again this half, they could easily have the ball right back, give them about 30, 35 seconds left on the clock to make something happen, but the Greyhounds had a great opportunity to go 14-3 due to a holding call, which we've seen multiple times here tonight, has just really hurt the Greyhounds. I mean, they're just doing it to themselves. They could have such a hold on this game if it wasn't for the penalties here tonight.
3rd and 15, 43 seconds left to play. Williams gets the quick pass. Williams marching upfield near first down. Are they going to give it to him? He's sitting right around the line to gain. They're going to say he's inches short, I believe.
This might be where you go back to that wild call.
This is an interesting spot here for the Hounds, because I think you're in range for Lucas Christian-Murphy if you trust him. He's shown the leg strength. It's just the trusting of these clutch moments. And so they're going to spot the ball, looks like around the 32-yard line, 4th down and 1. But with Carmel using their last timeout, I don't think you can afford to run the ball here, because the clock's going to continue to run. If you can run the ball, you get the first down, let's say best case scenario, then you snap the ball and you spike it. You're sitting at maybe 20 seconds left with a first down at the 30-yard line. That's not ideal for the Hounds if you can just maybe get a slant, or not slant, trying to get a pass to the sideline, get that first down and kick a field goal.
Yeah, the Greyhounds here either need to look for a first down, or if they were to pass the ball for some reason, just don't let Anthony Colner get sacked. Just throw it, get it incomplete, make that clock stop, and let the field goal unit get under the field.
It's incredible the drop-off of this offensive line from the first drive to now. The opening drive, this offensive line was a wall that was letting Pemberton get some yards, letting Colner have time, even giving Colner room to run the ball. But since then, it seems like every play is just an immediate collapse of this Carmel pocket. So we'll see what the play call is here. Looks like Carmel's sending out 2 receivers on either side of the ball. Pemberton in the backfield. And the way that the play call has been so far tonight, I wouldn't be surprised about anything.
Another thing that's just taking this game so long is the referees just figuring out the ball placement throughout the in-between drives.
4th and 1, they give it to Pemberton. Does he have enough for the first down? I think he does. Officials are saying yes, as a multitude of Lawrence Central Bears plummet him.
Enough on the forward progress.
Enough for the first down, so the clock will stop for the first, but it'll pick back up as soon as we get set.
And that's another first down.
Just under 30 seconds left to play.
It seems that the Greyhounds now have that perfect field positioning for the Greyhounds to set up for a kick here if they were not able to find a completed pass.
Corner to pass, looking towards the sideline. Finds his man in Carson Mace. He gets out of bounds, stopping the clock right around the line to gain. 24 seconds left. Carmel using the clock wisely, approaching the red zone and trying to get this game back in their possession.
Yeah, it's a smart play from the Greyhounds. One, getting closer field advantage for the kicker, Christian Worthy, and stopping the clock in one play. Very strategical there from Coach Hebert.
Two receivers either side once again for Carmel. Pemberton bend the back of the night for the Hounds. Another pass going to Carson Mace. He's out of bounds once again. Carmel really utilizing this drive in ways that we have not seen in terms of clock management.
Yeah, for sure. They're just getting that ball quick, right near the out of bounds, step out of bounds right when you make that catch, stopping the clock, and continuing to make fielded positioning.
Third and 2 for the 21-yard line.
They're calling it third and less than 1 here with just 20 seconds left to play in the first half. Corner to pass once again, going deep towards the end zone, trying to find Bellin. Flag comes in on the play, and this home crowd knows it's PI.
Yeah, pass interference there for sure on Jake Bellin. He was being held almost the whole way once that ball went up into the air. Great field advantage now for the Greyhounds to set up for a touchdown. I like that play. You know, throw it a little bit over his head so that the defense can't really make an interception play on it, but Jake Bellin has the opportunity to go up for that ball, and we could even have, like it happened, the defense is more likely to hold him because they know he has the ability to go up and get that ball.
Yeah, that's one of the best strengths of a offense, is just being able to bait a penalty like that. When you go deep in those pivotal moments, you know that the defense is going to pull out all the stops, and usually that results in a pass interference penalty. So they're going to spot it half the distance to the goal. Carmel inside the red zone now, and a fresh set of downs. 15.8 to play in the first half. Carmel has flipped a switch here on the second half of this drive. Williams, the lone receiver on the left side. He has 1 touchdown on the night. Mace joins him now on the bottom of your screen. Corner to pass finds Mace once again. He's been that guy on the left sideline, stopping the clock inside the 10-yard line now. Carmel in position to score.
Yeah, no, you take more of a risk here from the Greyhounds going for this touchdown, or do you just kind of look again for a guy like Carson Mace, just get the ball, get out of bounds, and stop the clock again and bring out your field goal unit to more secure a spot on the scoreboard?
Well, at the pace that they're playing right now, you got to keep pounding the ball. Eventually, you're going to get it in the end zone. Still 12 seconds to play, but Carmel's been utilizing this clock very well. Corner to pass once again, gets rid of it quickly, trying to find the end zone. Jake Bellin not there. He was looking for a flag. So that'll bring up third down and 6.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised Jake Bellin did not get that flag.
Yeah, I
there.
thought, yeah.
It looked very, very similar, if not even worse than the previous pass interference call. The ref was right there, definitely saw what happened, and didn't think it was enough for there to be a pass interference call.
So, ignoring the possibility and the stretch that it would be where Carmel gets the ball between the 1-yard line and the end zone, this is the second to last play of the drive for Carmel, potentially. Either you get the touchdown here and that's the final play, or you fail and you kick the field goal. But besides that, this should be the decider for how this play or how this drive finishes for the Hounds. Corner with time, he moves right, looking end zone, finds a wide open man. There's Carson Mace for his first touchdown of the night.
Yeah, it's a huge touchdown there for Carson Mace. He kind of earned that touchdown. He was the one getting the Greyhounds down the field, getting the ball quick, getting out of bounds. And yeah, he really deserves that touchdown. He's really been putting in the work and effort the last couple of weeks, filling into that role that he was not really seen early on in the season due to the injury of Liam Mann.
Yeah, so Mace's first touchdown of the night, also Colner's first touchdown of the night. So Carmel looking to make this an 11-point lead. Lucas Christian-Murthy on for the point after. And what a flip this has been of a script for Carmel here to end this first half.
Yeah, definitely an interesting half. I mean, very back and forth. You kind of thought the Greyhounds would have scored off that Nate Williams kick, set them back. They didn't let that stop them. They went down and attacked this last minute before we go into the half. 2 seconds remaining on the clock here after the kickoff. Really just got to get a stop and
barring a
bring it into
miracle,
the
it's
locker
going to
room.
be a 2-possession lead for the Hounds going into halftime. And we've been saying it all night that both these teams are weak and they have potential to, really, this game can go either way. Both teams sitting at 3-5 coming into the evening, and we weren't quite sure which way the ball was going to land. We thought Carmel looked better on paper, but with the amount of injuries, Lawrence Central might have had the advantage, especially with the poor performance we've seen Carmel have at home. But we're seeing them get that first half lead that we were hoping to see because the second half offense has been weak. .7 left to play, just enough time for Lawrence Central to have a play if they choose to take a knee here. If not, just enough time to run the ball out.
Definitely more energy than we've seen from the Carmel student section, being up at home for the first time in a while, really showing a good sign going into the half. We haven't really seen that since week 1 versus Homestead. So definitely a good sign here tonight for the Greyhounds as they go into the locker room knowing they're up 2 possessions, and they just got to come back out and kind of continue what they did on that last drive where they just worked quick, got the ball up the field, and were quick and efficient.
This has potential to be one of the games where we see the student section stick around after halftime. That's been a noticeable difference between the first and second half. Is just the amount of people that stay here, and so the energy is up. A lot of these students, it's their last game for Carmel, last home game, assuming that they do not show up to the sectional game against Zionsville. 2.7, Lucas Christian-Murthy sending it away. Squib kick right around the 25-yard line, brought out by the Bears. For Dorcher bringing him down right around the 35-yard line. That's how the first half is going to end here on CHTV. Carmel gets a late score to end the first half, extending this lead 14-3. What are we seeing positively out of these Hounds?
Yeah, the Hounds had a really great short passing game, I think, throughout this game. The little short routes from Pemberton early on, and then finding Carson Mace on that last drive a couple of times, getting him quick touches out of bounds, and then him scoring that touchdown. The Greyhounds' defense was pretty solid compared to what we've seen throughout the other couple of games early on in the season. So the Greyhounds defense have really stepped up tonight. Definitely not facing as strong as opponent as they have been previous weeks, but the Greyhounds defense have really came tonight and proved that they have the defense that can bring this Greyhounds team a little bit a step further than they have been throughout this season so far.
Yeah, the run game for LC has definitely been the strength so far, and penalties have killed both teams. 14-3 Hounds going into halftime. We'll see you back here for the second half on CHTV.
Carmel Athletics is the pursuit of excellence. It's looking for daily opportunities to work together, work hard, improve your fundamentals, work as a team, compete together, prepare together, so that when you're ready to go out for a contest, you know that you've done your part to prepare, get ready to do your best. As a result of hours and hours and days and weeks and months of that mindset being put to the test. Winning is not an action. Winning is a result. Hey!
I'm Brian Melby alongside Eli Penkwhite, and we are back to break down what has happened in the first half so far. A lot to talk about. To start the game, the Greyhounds had a great start with scoring a touchdown on their very first drive, getting a quick stop, and driving back down the field again, looking like they were going to get 7 or at least 3 until penalties happened. Eli, let's talk about how penalties have influenced this game and changed it a lot.
Yeah, on the drive you were talking about, they ended up with a 4th and 44, and they were very far back and went from field goal position, and it was really a really good shot at a touchdown, to having to punt it and the ball only getting to their 20. And they just really struggled. Both teams really struggled with flags. Carmel also had another play, the kick return touchdown that was called back because of a block in the back, and just a lot of penalties and a lot of yardage lost because of that.
Yeah, definitely a lot of flags that Carmel is going to need to clean up. But besides that, that is not the first time when Carmel got in great scoring position and ended up giving the ball away. Carmel was driving down towards the end of the second half, and then a big momentum swing when 2 players were tackled into a media girl with the camera. Fortunately for her, she is okay, but a long pause changing the momentum, and Lee Koner got pressured, threw it to Lawrence Central, resulting in an interception when they had great scoring position, looking for a touchdown. So definitely for the second half, when they gain those scoring positions, they are gonna need to start scoring in those.
Yeah, he has 154 passing yards, but it hasn't looked perfect. The defense has looked really good today, though. They have held Lawrence Central to 11 passing yards and 90 total yards of offense in the first half, and Lawrence Central only has 3 points.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. We have to credit the defense because the offense has been doing their job. They could definitely improve a lot. We've also been seeing how those injuries are affecting the Greyhounds with all the receivers out. And we also see Nate Williams might be dealing with a bit of a right knee injury after that interception that I was talking about by Koner. He was holding his right knee and was slow to get off the field. He's played a few snaps since then, but there's definitely something going on there for his knee, so that we have to hope that Nate Williams is okay, healthy for the second half, hope that the offense is able to do what they've been doing, and especially the defense, holding Lawrence Central to how little yards they got and only 3 points. So let's hope Greyhounds did what they did in the first half, and we'll be back in a moment.
news, sports, and a whole lot more on our website, chtvcarmel.com. Make sure to check it out. Second half action just moments away here on CHTV. I'm Noah Bedoris with Andrew Hutzing, and what a first half here for Carmel. Up 14-3. We were calling it slow. We were calling it full of penalties, but the end result is Carmel up by 11, which has been not a sight that we have seen a whole lot this year.
Yeah, definitely an interesting end to the second quarter, kind of back and forth between Lawrence and Carmel, kind of a little scurry in the last 2 minutes, being in the red zone mostly of Lawrence. The Greyhounds are able to get that final touchdown there with 2 seconds remaining. Very, very big play for the Greyhounds to get the two-possession lead going into the second half.
So both teams getting set for this second half. Lawrence Central to receive the kickoff to start this third quarter. Anthony Colner sitting at 154 passing yards so far tonight. We've seen him sit right around 300 on a consistent basis, so he is on pace for that. Approaching 2,000 yards on the season, which would be a very positive sight to see despite the disappointing results of this season. The stats for Anthony Colner are speaking for themselves. When he can come into next year's senior year with that sort of resume, you're going to see a lot of teams circling Carmel on their schedules solely for that reason. On the other side of the ball, we've seen LC with only 11 yards in the air from their quarterback, Terry Walker III. It's been primarily the rush game used for the Bears, and it seemed to be mostly effective, but the points on the board do not speak to that. So expecting some more points coming for Lawrence Central, as their run game has shown to be very effective against this Carmel defense. They just haven't really had that many chances with the ball.
Yeah, on Lawrence Central's scoring drive, we saw a lot of action from Coron Parks and Al Gooden in that drive. We saw a little bit from the drive that they didn't score on, but not as much as effective as they were on their scoring drive. But definitely Carmel needs to be looking at those two running backs and really figuring out how they can box them in and not let them get into that open territory.
Carmel in the blackout unis, LC rocking the white and gray. Set for some third quarter action, 12 minutes on the clock. Christian Murphy sending it away for the Hounds. Kick is a strong one, sitting right around the 10-yard line for Lawrence Central. Ball brought out with minimum gain. Flag on the field, of course. Can't have a play tonight without a flag.
Yeah, picking up right where we left off here in the first half. Another flag kind of sums up the summary of this game. Looks like they're going to be calling a holding call on the Greyhounds.
Yeah, Fedorcha getting the call there. Errol Kearns bringing the ball out with a minor gain of maybe 15 yards, but it's going to prove to be even more after the penalty yards take their toll.
That actually looks like they might be pointing towards Lawrence's side on the penalty. A little bit of confusion here from the referees.
Okay, so holding on the offense. That's going to pin him further back. I was interested to see what that would even mean to have a defensive holding on a kickoff, because that's typically not a penalty you're going to see called. But the way that the officials were reacting seemed to be responding that way.
Yeah, they pointed towards the way of Carmel at first and then kind of discussed it there in the middle of the field.
It's been a messy game for the officials so far.
The officials have had a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss,
right,
and ball placement and
you can't blame them.
yardage.
You can't blame them entirely. It's been just a busy night of penalties where both teams unable to play a clean game. First play of the drive stays on the ground, but no yards there. Coron Parks gets the carry, but it's going to be second down and just as many for the Bears.
That defensive effort is something we're going to need to see from the Greyhounds. We saw basically every single defender there from the Greyhounds swarming the ball, putting in all effort from all areas on the defense, making sure that Lawrence can't get that positioning down the field and trying to trap them early, let their offense get the ball and continue to keep on driving down the field.
Caden Bauer had to stop there. He's been a very pivotal force as a junior on the defensive line. Going to see a whole lot of him for the remainder of this year and next year. Walker taking it himself. He takes a hard hit to the head as he goes down. No flags are in. Potentially looking for a late hit was Walker, but that's going to bring up 3rd down and long for Lawrence Central.
Yeah, big 3rd down here for the Greyhounds. Definitely need to get a stop. Get the Greyhounds offense the ball back early. Let them go down and let them see what they can do.
Chase Jarrett had to stop there. He's been plagued with some injuries throughout this year, so it's good to see him getting some stops and proving his worth as a defensive player. 3rd down and 7 coming up for LC. Play action. Walker to pass once again. Nearly picked off by Nate Williams. Goes off his fingertips. Pass intended for Jordan. That'll bring up 4th down, and the punt team will come out for the Bears.
Yeah, there's about 3 guys in the Carmel area that could have had that pick. Nate Williams being the top one that definitely just rolled off the top of his fingertip. That could have been his 4th interception on the season. He's been leading the Carmel Greyhounds in interceptions with 3, all coming in one game.
Yeah, Grayson George, the first defender there. So it kind of went behind him and then off the fingertips of Williams, but a 4th down is almost just as good when you look at Cooper Jordan, the punter for the Lawrence Central Bears, and just, frankly, the inexperience that his leg has. Jordan sends it away, very short punt. I think it was tipped a little bit by the Carmel special teams. Williams will just let it roll a little bit past the 50-yard line, and that's where Anthony Colner and the Carmel Greyhounds offense will start right around their own 46-yard line. Already with an 11-point lead, getting the ball back after a defensive stand, trying to extend this lead to 3 possessions.
Yeah, not only does the defensive stand, but they pulled that off in a quick amount of time. The offense has so much time here in this half to keep on going down the field. 10 minutes left here in the 3rd. So much time left in the game. But there's also a lot of time for Lawrence to come back in this game. So the Greyhounds have to stay on top of it, not settle back, not let off their guard, like we kind of seen them do in previous games early on in the first halves.
Carmel used the clock excellently to end their last drive of the first half. That's not going to be an issue here on this drive. There's a lot of clock to play with. As the first play of the drive goes to Drew Pemberton. He gets a yard on the play. 2nd down and 9 coming up. So it'll be interesting to see how Carmel's offense can play without the restrictions of a 2-minute drill. You're giving them all this time to work with, but your concern isn't those short 7-8 yard passes. It's formulating an entire drive that's going to hopefully result in a touchdown.
Yeah, but the Greyhounds here, if they were to go down and score a touchdown, they're going to have to look at the opposite side of time management and just kind of starting to run down this clock even more.
Colner to pass. Pocket collapses quickly. Colner taking it himself, going out of bounds after a decent gain. Going to be short of the 1st down. Actually, no, make that a 1st down for Carmel. Colner moving the chains as he steps out of bounds.
Yeah, and before
and the
that
Hounds
play,
are across midfield.
Before that play, no, Drew Pemberton ran off the field again. He's down, getting stretched out again. We saw him in the first half, kind of being stretched, wondering if this could be kind of the end of his game here tonight against Lawrence, kind of saving him next week for that sectional game.
Yes, the Hounds will put Gilmore in as the running back, and you could hear my confusion in the spot of the ball, and the referees are starting to reflect that. We're not entirely sure where this ball is. Is it a 1st down? Is it going to be 3rd and very short? We got 3 officials huddled around the spot right now. As of now, it's 1st down and 10.
And the spotting of the ball has kind of been the main concern for the referees the entirety of the game, which has kind of helped into this problem of how long the game has been taking. The referees just having lots of troubles marking the ball, finding the right ball placement, trying to get every yardage right for each team.
I mean, if you look at it right now, that ball is right at the 1st down line. The line to gain is the LC 45. I think they had enough for it. And you would think that Colner thinks he had enough for it if he's running out of bounds after the play.
Yeah, and he did so calmly, too.
Right.
He kind of just tranced out of bounds. He didn't really turn it on and try to get that little extra yardage. I think he thought he had enough for the 1st.
Looks like it's going to be 3rd down and 1. Hounds lining up on offense. Chains have not moved. 3rd and 1. Gilmore in the backfield. Pemberton tonight potentially done. And they'll give it to Gilmore right on cue, and he's stopped well behind the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up 4th down and not so short. 4th and 2 coming up, and we'll see if Carmel keeps the offense on the field. They are across midfield.
And that's where an injury like Drew Pemberton is facing right now. If he doesn't have this injury, he's in the game. You give him the ball over, Josiah Gilmore. Would he be able to get to that 1st down for the Greyhounds?
So Anthony Colner comes off the field. Nate Williams in Wildcat. Brady Knutson in at a tight end. Williams takes it. He gets across the line to gain. There's another 1st down for Carmel. Nate Williams has been the heartbeat of this Carmel offense tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Not only does he play wide receiver and corner, but we've seen him a lot tonight playing that Wildcat spot and taking the snap, taking that short rush, and just getting to that 1st down. And we saw in the first half finding the end zone after 2 Wildcat plays back to back.
Clock running, 8:40 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Anthony Colner back in the game. Under gun. 2 receivers on his right, 1 on his left. That's Carson Mace. Play action, blitz coming. Colner gets around it, trying to get rid of it, and finally he gets sacked and brought down. Humphrey with the sack, and that's a massive stop for this LC defense.
Yeah, Colner definitely needs to find a way just to get rid of the ball. He already got off 1 guy, luckily. After you get away from that 1st guy, there's going to be a bunch more collapsing. So once Colner kind of realizes that, he just needs to find the ball into open space and try to get the ball dead without getting an intentional grounding.
Yeah, this Lawrence Central defensive line between Humphrey and Robertson have been terrorizing Anthony Colner so far tonight. It's a 3-on-5 in the trenches for the most part tonight, and Carmel's offensive line has been unable to get those stops. Blitz coming once again. Colner scrambling. He goes down, and another sack. Colner tried to keep it himself after the pocket collapsed, but he gets wrapped up and brought down by Brian Robinson.
Another injury on the sideline for the Greyhounds. Robert Cross, sophomore, has gone down. He is in that offensive guard position, so he's kind of adding on to the injuries here tonight for the Greyhounds.
He's been playing a little bit of right tackle so far tonight, but there's still plenty of health in this Carmel O-line, and frankly, that's been the only healthy position that we've seen so far this year.
Yeah, it seems about the only core starting positions that hasn't seen a lot of injuries, which is surprising because that's usually one of the bigger areas where you'd see some injuries come in.
Williams gets the ball in this 3rd and long, trying to muster up some yards for a 1st down. He's well short, crossing midfield, but that'll be 4th down and way too many to go for it. So Carmel will send out the punt unit, trying to pin the Bears back deep in their own territory.
Yeah, definitely not the drive that the Greyhounds were looking for after coming off a hot roll going into the half, but definitely some stuff to improve on. Keep on running the ball. It's going to be hard to run the ball, though, with Drew Pemberton still down on the sideline. Going to have to look more towards Josiah Gilmore and maybe even see some action from Brady Knutson and Craig Kepler.
Flags come in on the snap. Going to be a false start on the Hounds. So pinning this ball further back before the punt. So what was a very potentially strategic punt for Lucas Christian Murphy is now much more a situation where you just got to send it away. We'll see how far this leg can stretch out. 4th and 19, clock at 6 minutes. 2 back to receive the kick. Christian Murphy sends it away. Strong kick. Let's see what kind of bounce it takes. Takes a Carmel bounce right around the 15-yard line. Ball is brought out by the Bears. Blockers in front and finally running out of bounds is number 10, Errol Kearns. And so that'll set up 1st down and 10 for Lawrence Central with some excellent field position to play with.
Yeah, this is some of the best field position that we've seen Lawrence Central kind of start with going in. We've usually seen them more in the depths of their own red zone. So what can they do with this field position that they haven't really seen a whole lot this game? Go down, make this game a one-possession game, hopefully with either a field goal or touchdown.
Yeah, this is the biggest opportunity that the Bears have had really so far this game, is with this short field of only about 55, 56 yards. How can they answer back and keep this game closer? So Walker will come out with his offense once again. Terry Walker, the third, only 11 yards in the air tonight. No touchdowns, no picks. He had one of each last week. Officials once again figuring out where to spot the ball. That's been a confusing topic for them tonight. They settle on the right hash.
First and 10 from the 44-yard line.
Trips left for the Bears. Walker to pass, looking deep towards the end zone. Lots of hands in on the play, no flags come in. Davis was the target. He was looking for some holding or some pass interference, but he gets no flags there. Second down and 10 coming up.
Yeah, that was a great defensive play there by Dylan Gold, just kind of getting in the way of the receiver. I didn't think he used too much hands. I think he was just using more of his upper body, staying on the receiver, and didn't let that receiver get to the ball and let him make a play on it.
Yeah, I don't think it was worthy of a penalty, but Davis definitely thought so. It's interesting, we have not seen Terry Walker air the ball out a whole lot tonight. That's probably one of, if not the first attempts we've seen where Lawrence Central really trying to make a big play.
Yeah, if that ball would have been caught, that would have almost doubled his passing yards for the night on that one pass.
Penalty marker in once again. That's going to be a false start. Lewis, the wide receiver, the guilty party there.
False start against Lawrence Central.
Never seen so many false starts, holdings, and
it's
one
really
game.
interesting. I've seen a lot of false starts on receivers tonight. You don't see a whole lot. Typically, it's on the offensive line, but we've seen receivers from both sides jump off too early. 2nd and 15 now. You would expect Lawrence Central to go to the air once again. Walker fumbles the ball. Ball is loose. Who's going to pick it up? Looks like Walker recovered it. Eugenio Jada trying to plead his case that it is his football. But they're going to say 3rd down and long for Lawrence Central.
Loss of 5 on the play.
5 yards lost there. Lawrence Central trying to do some play action, but Walker unable to hold on to the football.
And I think this has been a great response from the defense, letting the offense get back right onto the field if they can get this stop on 3rd down and put the Greyhounds in good field position, because we've seen Lawrence Central's punter not being able to get the ball that far, so the Greyhounds wouldn't really be that far set back.
Dickerson lining up on the defensive line. That's a change for Carmel. Pressure comes now. Walker trying to air it out deep downfield. Has a man down there. Pass is broken up. Grayson George in coverage there, and an excellent defensive stand by the Hounds, bringing up 4th down and 20.
That was a great defensive play. Not getting in the way of the defender making the catch, but getting in the way enough that he wouldn't draw that pass interference. That would have been a very devastating pass interference call on that 4th and 20, and not letting them get to that 1st down.
Yeah, it's been interesting, this Lawrence Central game plan offensively, because we know the injuries in this Carmel secondary, where a vast majority of the guys downfield are not first-string players. But for the most part, LC has been keeping the ball on the ground, not testing out these 2nd, 3rd-string guys. And when they have, so far, Carmel's been able to answer. Punt nearly blocked once again. It's a short punt, but it gets a bare bounce. Williams will take it himself after the bounce, getting himself right around his own 45-yard line. A group effort has to bring him down. Less than 5 left to play here in this 3rd quarter. Carmel trying once again to open up scoring here in the second half.
Yeah, and like you said, that punt was almost blocked. We've seen that almost 3 times on every single punt now, where the kicker has been really, really close to being blocked. And on that play, you could see the Greyhounds' defensive line really ready to attack because they knew that they had that time to go and get that block punt potentially.
Carmel's offense out for the second time this half. Colner will pass on the first play. Looking to take it himself, gets rid of it, finds Woodward. Trying to get out of bounds, he cannot. Gain of about 4 on the play. Griffin Woodward has had a busy night. No touchdowns for the young man, but he's been a favorite target of Anthony Colner besides Carson Mace.
Also have Craig Kepler checking in the backfield for the Greyhounds. Haven't really seen much of him tonight, which is surprising because he's kind of shared that 1-2 position with Pemberton, and Pemberton's gone down with the injury. So I think we'll definitely see some more stuff tonight from Craig Kepler and maybe a little bit more from Josiah Gilmore.
Colner to pass once again. Dumps it off down to Nate Williams. Williams fighting for a first down. He's going to be short. Fox with the tackle there, bringing up 3rd down and short for Carmel across midfield. Carmel already in a position where you might think about going for it on 4th down. We have not seen a field goal attempt by Lucas Christian Murphy so far tonight. His 2 extra points have been perfect. Barely out of field goal range. You might want 10, 15 extra more yards before you test out the leg of Lucas Christian Murphy. He definitely has the strength for it, but we have not seen him utilize it in a game scenario so far this year. 3 minutes to play in the 3rd. Kepler gets the ball fighting for a first down. He's going to be short. That's going to be 4th down and just a yard to go. So here's a crucial coaching decision to be made by the Carmel Greyhounds. Do they keep the offense on the field, or do they send the ball away and pin Lawrence Central deep in their own territory? For a moment, the offense stayed out there, but here comes the punt unit for Carmel.
Definitely think the Greyhounds could have gone for it there.
Yeah, but
on that 4th down.
But up 11, you might not want to risk it, I feel.
I mean, there's 2.5 minutes here left in the 3rd. Lawrence Central hasn't really shown much of a threat going down to score yet, so make them prove that they can go down and score.
Christian Murphy's punt gets a nice bounce. Brought out after the bounce by the Bears. He's got plenty of room to run downfield. No flags, no defenders. Touchdown Bears. Errol Kearns with a embarrassing touchdown for Lawrence Central puts the Bears back in this game.
Yeah, and that's the real first explosive play we've really seen for Lawrence Central this game, which is really tragic for the Greyhounds because you could see that they were considering going for that 4th down. They get that 4th down, that punt return doesn't happen. Now this game is could be a 4-point game after an extra point attempt.
So it looks like Carmel should have gone for it on 4th down. You might expect Lawrence Central to send out their offense to get a 2-point play, make this game just a field goal away. Looks like they'll do just that. So an interesting play here, going for the 2-point conversion. One receiver in motion, that's Lewis. Walker to pass, pump fakes, gets rid of it, balances it in the end zone, and it's no good. So Carmel holds on to their 5-point lead as the 2-point attempt by the Bears is unsuccessful. So Hounds will get the ball back, still holding on to this lead. And more official discourse going on right around the 5-yard line.
Lots of confusion, it seems, tonight between referees and coaches, and just overall confusion in general with all the referees, it seems, just making the right calls and kind of figuring out what's really going on.
Yeah, and I mean, to the referee's credit, you want to get the right call on every play, but at some point, you got to just let the guys play. These are 2, 3, and 5 teams that have already solidified their sectional game. This game means little to nothing. There are very few fans here. We're getting to a point where you just want to see them pick up the flag. So a false start is going to be called against Lawrence Central. So the 2-point conversion attempt went from unsuccessful to still unsuccessful after discussion from the referees. 2:02 left to play in the third. Carmel with 120 more yards thus far tonight than Lawrence Central, and they're set to get the ball back and add on to that total.
The second half here seemed to be moving a little bit quicker, but kind of back to the feeling of the first half with just penalties, confusion, and just kind of seems to be the theme of this game.
No injuries yet, but I'm sure we'll find a few. Cooper Jordan set to kick it off for Lawrence Central. The sophomore has had a successful night so far. First field goal attempt of the year was true. And despite a few scares on punts, he has yet to have one blocked. Carmel will, it appears, have Griffin Woodward be the replacement kick returner, with Pemberton fighting through injury. Kick, one of the stronger ones of the night by Jordan. Williams will take it out himself. He's got some room to run. Pushes through one man and gets across his own 40-yard line. Another productive kick return by Nate Williams, and a shorter field for Anthony Colner and the Carmel offense.
Yeah, Lawrence Central hasn't really had many answers tonight for Nate Williams on the kick returns, punt, and kickoff. We saw Nate Williams bring one back for a touchdown that got called back due to a holding call, but Nate Williams has been dominant on the kick return and getting that open space and getting extra yardage after contact.
Hounds lead at 14-9 here on senior night. 1:55 to play in the third. First and 10 on the 42. Gilmore in the backfield for Carmel. Colner will pass, gets rid of it, finds Nate Williams on the sideline for a gain of 1.
Tackle by 6, Cleveland Smith for the Raiders.
Clock running under 2. Hounds taking their time getting to the ball.
Yeah, if I'm Carmel, I'm going to kind of run this clock out on this possession as most as you can, trying to give yourself maybe one more possession to work with. But if you go down and scored here, 2-possession game, get the ball back, then maybe kind of use that last possession as your final drive, maybe if you waste enough time here on this drive.
Yeah, I definitely agree that Carmel should be looking to milk as much of the clock as possible as this next pass goes to Jake Bellin. He's got enough for a Carmel first down. But I feel that at this point in the game, we're still not at the fourth quarter. And we discussed really the weakness of this Carmel offense going into the second half, where the first half, they seem fine, full of energy, but then they just completely fall flat in that second half. And so I almost feel like that with the way that they're managing the clock right now is almost just a cry to get out of this game, where they have the lead. They want to, stop the count with 1:05 left to play in the third. But if they can just chip away at the clock and survive this game, that's the mentality that Carmel has right now. They're not necessarily looking to add on. They just want to keep this game out of reach of Lawrence Central. Bellin with another nice play, makes a couple of defenders miss and brings it down to the LC 30-yard line. Clock stops at under a minute for the chains to move. And Carmel cooking now into enemy territory, potentially getting another scoring opportunity.
Yeah, quick momentum here from the Greyhounds. Don't really need to slow it down. If you're playing fast and it's working, don't go against that just to clock management here. But if the quick play is working, I'd say just go for it and get the points on the board.
For sure. 1st and 10 now. Handoff to Craig Kepler. Kepler gets a couple yards there. And Craig Kepler has been a special case all year where you want him to succeed. You want Craig Kepler to have a great night. And he's a senior. This is his night, and he's definitely put in a lot for this program, but he has not had a whole lot of productive evenings. And that's why, for the most part, we saw him start the year as kind of that second option behind Colin Johnson. And then once Johnson got hurt, Pemberton took that place. And then now that Pemberton's going down, we're going to see some Josiah Gilmore. And so really, you hate to see it, but Craig Kepler has been doomed as that second option no matter who gets hurt or who stays in the game. 2nd and 8, Colner goes out of bounds. He's hit as he does so. Wincing a little bit as he makes his way back to the huddle. Not ideal there if you are Carmel. So 3rd down coming up. 3rd and long. Going to be about 11 yards short of the line to gain.
Yeah, I'm surprised there was almost not roughing the passer, but
late hit there.
Late hit there on Robertson, because we saw something similar there on Robertson in the first half, but something looked very similar there on the far side on Lawrence Central's sideline on the late hit on Colner.
3rd and just under a dozen for Carmel. Colner airing it out deep downfield. Tries to find Bellin once again, but the pass is incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down and long. You'd hope to see him send the field goal unit out here. I think this is in Christian Murthy's range, but for now the offense stays out there with 4th down and 11 to go.
I think the Greyhounds have less trust in the Lawrence offensive ability to go down and score, and that their special teams has a better chance of almost scoring than they would if they just send out the offense.
Pressure comes against Colner. Colner moving right, gets rid of it. Nobody's there. And a defensive stand by Lawrence Central brings their offense back on the field. Carmel with a nice drive that resulted in nothing. Anthony Colner slow to get up. Hounds clinging to a 5-point lead, and the training staff will come 10-2 to the junior quarterback.
Yeah, we've seen Anthony Colner throughout the entirety of the season kind of going down with some late injuries kind of around this similar time. We've seen Jackson Treadway kind of get in a couple of games here at home, but definitely do not want to see the quarterback going down hurt, as he's one of the key role players here for the Greyhounds.
Treadway, a sophomore. As of right now, he's lined up to take over the starting job after next season when Anthony Colner graduates. Heavily favoring that right leg, not even making contact with his left foot right now is Anthony Colner. And that's frankly been his weakest part right now, or part this season has been his ankle. He has had issues keeping his ankles healthy all this year, and there was a point during the season when we heard that Anthony Colner was going to stop running the ball, he was going to stay in the pocket, but with the way this offensive line has performed this year, that's been not a possibility. And so Colner putting himself at risk every single week, and more often than not, that's been resulting in an injury. So that's how the third quarter ends here on CHTV. Lawrence Central gets the ball back. First play of their drive is a handoff to Karan Parks. He brings it out for a gain of 5. 2nd down and 5 coming up for the Bears. Fedorcha with the stop there.
It looks like they're sending Anthony Colner straight back to the locker room, not even keeping him on the sideline, which is not a good sign for him at all.
Well, if they can rush him and they can really, figure out the cause of the pain, there's a chance they can get him back out here before the end of this game. I'm not saying the next drive or the drive after that, but if Carmel and Jackson Treadway can keep this game manageable, there's a chance you can see Anthony Colner in before the end of the night. But at the same time, we've been saying it all night that this game means next to nothing for Carmel. So if that means keeping Anthony Colner out of it to hopefully rest him up for a couple weeks to face Zionsville and Zach Trent, that could be a totally logical option. Another delay on the field. You think the officials get paid by the hour, not by the game, by the way that this game's going tonight?
Yeah, definitely a slow night. Never seen this slow of a night from an officiating crew. Usually they're more on top of things, yet tonight it just seems to be a lot of confusion with ball placements and a bunch of penalties coming throughout the entirety of this game.
Looks like officials finally sorting this out. It's going to be second down and 6 at the 35. Carmel sideline running out of hope in this game as their leader and quarterback, Anthony Colner, exiting to the locker room. Not to say that you do not have trust in Jackson Treadway. He's had his share of snaps so far this year, but the experience is definitely drastically different. 3rd and 2 now. Lawrence Central and hurry up offense. They hand the ball off, and that's plenty for a first down. Karan Parks with another first down. That'll move the chains with less than 11 minutes to play in this game. Lawrence Central in reach. A touchdown would put them ahead.
Yeah, we can see Lawrence Central kind of picking up the pace a little bit. They're kind of understanding the situation. Anthony Colner's out. Play quick, make the Greyhounds offense get the ball back, and let Jackson Treadway show what he can do.
Handoff goes to Gooden. He gets a gain of 3 yards there. It's interesting to see the dynamic duo between Karan Parks and Al Gooden because they've both proven to be very suitable running backs. That's what you would expect out of this Carmel offense, but for the most part, it's only been Drew Pemberton, and now that he's hurt, you're giving the keys to Craig Kepler, and he's so far been unable to fulfill the position. Walker to pass once again. Scrambling in the pocket, goes right, goes back towards the center. Now he'll run with it. He has a first down. Now he'll slide after getting the first down. Terry Walker with an excellent play on his own, and there's an injury on the field for Carmel.
Yeah, we haven't really seen much from Terry Walker.
Who's hurt right now? Is that Eugenio? I'm not seeing him anywhere else. Yeah, that's Eugenio Ojada, who has the next case of the injury bug with 10:10 left to play in this ballgame. And that's not a position that Carmel has a surplus of on the defensive line. You have Caden Bauer, you have Emmanuel Griffin, but after Eugenio, there's not a whole lot of options. We've seen Jones get some snaps so far this year. Adel Navarrete might be that next option. But with a D1 commit, Eugenio Ojada coming out of this game, that's not ideal for this Carmel squad.
Yeah, he does seem to be walking off on his own just fine, so hopefully he'll be able to get back in this game quickly for the Greyhounds as they need him out on the field.
It looks like Luke Brell is the defensive replacement for Carmel. taking over for the potentially injured Eugenio Ojada. First down and 10 now for the Bears. Walker trying to look deep. Pump fakes, goes deep once again, trying to find the end zone. Nearly picked off by Nate Williams. Excellent defensive play by Williams at first. Pass intended for number 17, Antonio Woodson. But what a play by Nate Williams, nearly picking it off after getting his hand on the ball.
Yeah, that was an outstanding play by Nate Williams. He's making cornerback look like it's almost his main position out there. Yeah, his main position is wide receiver. Just shows how dominant he is on both sides of the ball tonight for the Greyhounds and throughout the majority of this season.
Passes a handoff once again. Karan Parks gets a few positive yards there. It's going to bring up third down and more than manageable. There was a flag on the field. It's going to be a holding against the Bears. The dynamic of this Lawrence Central receiving corps has been interesting to watch so far tonight because of the limited usage of the pass game. Typically, we're able to pinpoint by this point in the game who those real threats are for Carmel's opponents, because coming into any given Friday night, you're not entirely sure who's going to be that hero, because performance one week doesn't always translate into the next week. But at this point, with only 11 passing yards for Terry Walker, there's really nobody that we're sure of to be that first option if you're Carmel. And so with Lawrence Central only down a touchdown, there's a whole lot of confusion when it comes to who do we defend more heavily. Parks breaks through some defenders, and he brings it down past the line to gain. There's a first down for Lawrence Central. Nate Williams gets the tackle there. And after a second down and 20, the Bears get an excellent running play. Another Carmel injury on the field.
Looks like Eugenio
That's
Ojada
Eugenio once again. So he came back into the game, but hurt himself for real this time. So Luke Burrell will replace him likely indefinitely for the remainder of this game. Eugenio, another one of those guys that you'd hate to lose at this point in the year. So after the gain of 25 by Lawrence Central, they have first down approaching the red zone. Handoff once again, plenty of room to run. Flag comes in. So after another handsome run by Harris, we'll see where this penalty completes this play.
It looks like it's going to be a holding on Lawrence Central, bringing them back a couple more yards.
You got it.
Carmel student section has really kind of fizzled out here in the fourth quarter. We saw after halftime it still seemed pretty filled in that lower section, but now it's kind of starting to look like that fall break game against Ben Davis 2 weeks ago, where student section just really dies down, and it's really just first 2-3 rows here for the Greyhounds.
So Kyron Harrison got the carry on that play, which is really interesting because we've been stressing that 1-2 punch of Parks and Gooden, but at this point in the game, when you're down by what you can assume to be a touchdown, why do you not go to one of those two guys that have been stagnant all night? As the next play goes to Karan Parks, he gets a solid gain of about 9.
Yeah, I agree with you, Noto, totally. I think Karan Parks has been the entirety of this Lawrence Central offense, just about a little bit of action from Gooden, but Parks has really kind of carried the load.
Even
for
Gooden,
Gooden's
had a great night. I understand if you go to him, but going to Harrison this point in the game caught me off guard, and I feel like was not the logical play from this Lawrence Central offense. Second down and 13, trips left. Walker play action, pressure coming now. Walker moving left, trying to look towards the end zone, has an open man. Did he bounce it? They're saying he did not. Touchdown Bears. Okocha with the touchdown reception, the Carmel sideline saying that that ball hit blue paint first, but no review system in this league, and so that's going to be good for a Lawrence Central touchdown. And they've taken the lead here with less than 9 minutes to play.
Not only did it look like the ball bounced on the ground, but I'm not even sure if he got both feet in bounds on that reception. It seems like he kind of caught that ball in the white area too.
I agree for sure. And it's one of those plays where if you're Carmel, you complain because of the result, but Okacha was so wide open that it's almost like you don't want to put too much blame. This 2-point conversion by Walker is good, making this a 3-point LC lead. But the poor performance on that play is sort of reflected on both sides because he was so wide open.
Yeah, definitely. Carmel defense has kind of had some struggles there with their corners and safeties in the back area, not really showing up some games for what they're needed for, but definitely cannot leave that guy wide open like that and even let him have the ability to make that kind of play.
So Okocha with the touchdown reception, and so we're starting to get a bit of an idea as to how this LC offense could be running. Okocha's been a target so far tonight, but it's hard to say that somebody's been a main target with so little pass offense coming from the Bears. 8:52 left to play. Set for Jackson Treadway's first drive of the evening. Looks like Drew Pemberton's back on the field, which is a good sign for this Carmel team. Pemberton's on the field, but he is not set to return this kick. He is on the special teams, but it is still Woodward and Williams who will receive the kick. Carmel student section about 5 or 6 rows deep. 8:52 left in this ball game. Cooper Jordan, the sophomore, set to send it away. You could say he's been getting better as the night has gone on. His first kick of the night was weak, but since then he's really found his footing and proved himself to be that first option despite only being in the 10th grade. His kickoff is strong right around the 15-yard line. Williams takes it out. Moving towards the right side, he gets a block. Spins through another man, fighting for some extra yards, and Nate Williams with way more yards than he deserved on that play, giving the Hounds a solid starting point for Jackson Treadway's first drive.
Yeah, Treadway here hasn't really seen much action. He saw some action 2 weeks ago here against Ben Davis, but that wasn't enough snaps to really get him comfortable with his offense. But tonight it's going to be a great opportunity for him to get into the game flow and the gameplay of Carmel football.
Treadway 4 of 6 total throughout this year, 23 yards on it. Great stats, but in a very small sample size. First play of the drive is a handoff to Drew Pemberton. So Carmel sort of trades Anthony Colner for Drew Pemberton in terms of health, and you can expect that is going to be the first option for the rest of this night. If Carmel can keep pounding the ground with Drew Pemberton, getting first downs, milk this clock as much as you can without letting it completely run out, and either tie this ball game or win this ball game. But if you can keep the ball on the ground, you're going to keep it out of the hands of Lawrence Central.
I think also looking for just short passes to players like Nate Williams and Carson Mace, maybe even Jake Bellin, and just let them work with the ball into space and not risking throwing the ball deep. And we haven't seen much of Jackson Treadway's arm.
Pemberton gets the ball once again, runs out of bounds after the first down. So Pemberton 2 for 2 on this drive. So it's great to see him back. But like you were saying, you want to see guys like Bellin, like Mace, like Williams get involved on this potentially game-deciding drive with less than 8 minutes left to play. Carmel approaching midfield. Whole lot of question marks when you have an inexperienced quarterback in.
And it's surprising to see Drew Pemberton continue to fight through some of the injuries he had tonight. But I just realized that Drew Pemberton actually came from Lawrence Central. So he has a little bit of beef with this team, I guess you could say, and he wants to be out there. He wants to win this game for Carmel and for himself too. Going against his old school, has to have an extra fight in him to want to really win this game.
Yeah, it's sort of how fate had it by the point in this season where you have an injury to Colin Johnson. It's an underperformance by Craig Kepler that you're seeing a surplus of carries by Drew Pemberton by the point in this year when he gets to face his former team.
Yeah, and Drew Pemberton also probably knows a lot of this defensive scheme and how some other defensive players work, and he might be able to attack some of their weaknesses better than what Craig Kepler could do, because he has never been in the Lawrence Central program, obviously, like Drew Pemberton has been.
First down, going to be about 3 yards away from the line to gain. 3rd and 3 coming up. And once again, you got to ask, do you test out Treadway's arm, or do you keep it on the ground with Andrew Pemberton?
I'd say just keep it on the ground with Andrew Pemberton for now. I mean, he's been doing just fine getting that short yardage. 3rd and 3, definitely in his range of short yardage in runs. We've seen most of his runs tonight being at least 3 to 5 yards.
Treadway with 2 options on either side of him. Bellin on his far right. Treadway looks up the middle, overthrows Nate Williams, who was wide open, looking towards blue grass. And a disappointing end to this drive, potentially. We'll see how Carmel plays this 4th down and 3, but they had Nate Williams wide open, ready to go to the end zone.
Yeah, Lawrence Central definitely expected a run play call there from the Greyhounds, not thinking that Jackson Treadway would actually throw the ball. Nate Williams was literally wide open. Jackson Treadway just overthrows Nate Williams for what would have been a touchdown if Nate Williams could have caught that ball.
4th and 3, 6:31 left to play. A pivotal moment here in this ballgame. Treadway to pass. Moving to his left. Finds Woodward. Pass is broken up and incomplete. Hounds failed to complete on the 4th down. And they'll turn the ball over with less than 6.5 to play. Gooden with the stop there. He's been playing both sides of the ball tonight. So an excellent defensive stand by Lawrence Central. And they have the ball and the lead as we get down to crunch time in this ball game.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate there for Jackson Treadway. I mean, had a wide open target in Nate Williams, which would have been an easy touchdown, just bringing the ball right down the field for Nate Williams, just overthrow him. I mean, that kind of just shows the lack of chemistry that Treadway and Nate Williams haven't really had this season.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of signs of, the inexperience when you look at Jackson Treadway. But even going back to that play with Nate Williams, when you get guys that don't have experience in these kind of situations, sometimes you see those wide open receivers, or you see the fastball down the middle, or you see a wide open layup, and you just freeze because it seems too easy to be true, and you're not used to that situation.
Yeah, I mean, he was put in a great position to get that 1st down and potentially a touchdown. Yeah, and like you said, he saw the moment and just couldn't arise to it because of the pressure he might have been feeling in that moment.
Pressure makes diamonds, but Jackson Treadway's a lump of coal so far tonight. Less than 6 to play. Caron Parks with a nice run of about 9 yards, setting up the 2nd down and 9, and a flag comes in. They're going to call a false start on Lawrence Central. So erasing that nice 9-yard run by Caron Parks. It's going to be 2nd down and 6 now.
You don't know if there was an over-under for flags tonight. I think.
From the 49-yard line. Caron Parks, the ball carrier. Gain of 8 on the play. It is a Lawrence Central 1st down. First and 10 from the 41-yard line.
Well, okay, Jackson Treadway would have to go down and score. The Greyhounds have to get a stop. He has to go down and score again or get into field goal range, which just seems like a hard task for the sophomore quarterback to do.
Definitely, and we've been talking about the inexperience of Jackson Treadway. Only 6 passing attempts going into tonight. Harrison gets the carry on this play, a gain of about 3 or 4. Harrison being that third option for the Bears so far tonight. Limited usage, but he's been effective. Aiden Dickerson gets the stop there. Clock continues to run under 5.
Definitely some clock management strategies here from Lawrence Central now, using up the time that they have.
Yeah, really milking as much as they can, letting the play clock dip down under 5 seconds as it sits at 5 right now. Walker hands it off once again. Harrison gets a yard on the play. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 6.
Aaron Fedorcha and wide receiver for Lawrence Central kind of got into a little push fight there after the snap.
Yeah, in games like this, when you have a lot of penalties, a lot of injuries, you're going to see temper start to flare because just like the fans at home, we're getting tired.
Al Gooden, the ball carrier. There is a penalty marker on the play.
Beautiful first down run by Al Gooden. Seems like a timely time for a holding on the offense.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it basically every single drive, almost even every single set of downs. There's almost been a flag for either holding, false start, or some type of flag. So definitely looks like Lawrence Central is kind of walking back, and it'll be a 3rd and long here for them.
Yeah, another holding call will really put LC in a position that they do not want to be in, where you're sitting just past midfield. You have 3rd down and long coming up. If you do not complete this, what do you do with the drive? Because you're in a position where you can score here and put this game mostly out of reach from Carmel and Jackson Treadway. But if you do not succeed in that, you're giving Carmel excellent field position. And so this is definitely going to be a spot where I would hope that they would punt for their sake if they do not get this 3rd down completion. Gooden in the backfield. Play clock bleeding. Walker takes the snap. Looking deep downfield, and he goes down. Caden Bauer with the sack. And as the clock continues to run under 3.5, Carmel's going to get the ball back with an opportunity to win this ball game.
Yeah, and this is where you really put the trust into Jackson Treadway and what he's been doing in practice, and kind of sitting that 2nd spot behind Anthony Colner in the tips that Anthony Colner has kind of given him throughout practice. And this is really his time to shine and show what he has in the backup position behind Colner.
So it looks like Lawrence Central is keeping the offense on the field with this 4th down and 24. Really interesting decision here. Yeah, it looks like they'll just try to get the Hounds to jump because they've been doing that all night. So now a timeout's going to be called, and you can expect the punt to come out. Now, I don't want to say the words I'm predicting, okay? But Carmel has been awfully close to blocking multiple punts from Cooper Johnson so far tonight. Cooper Johnson is a sophomore. I've been saying it. He has very limited experience, very limited strength compared to his peers. I think this is an opportunity where Carmel can capitalize on those weaknesses. Not to discredit Cooper Jordan, he is an excellent player. I have seen his field goal. I look forward to the rest of his career. But this can definitely be a play where the lion feeds on the injured gazelle.
Yeah, but the Greyhounds on the defensive line need to be careful not to get that jump because they know they can get the block, and they don't want to get a false start and give Lawrence some better yardage. But I totally agree with you, Noah. If the Greyhounds can get a block, I mean, they'd be set up in almost field goal range with the block. It'd probably bounce back around the 30, 35, maybe even the 25, and for a scoop, maybe a score, but definitely potentially a field goal range, which would tie this game up.
Eugenio Jota back in the game. He's been in and out so far tonight. Looks like he's been dealing with a wrist injury at times. Cooper Jordan set to punt it away. 2:52 to play. Hounds down by 3 in this final regular season game of the 2024 season. Referees conversing once again. Williams set to receive. He's the lone punt returner. Officials are set, and here we go. 4th and long, punt incoming. Snap is high. Pressure comes, and Jordan gets rid of it. Nate Williams calls for the fair catch inside his own 25-yard line. Hounds were looking for some contact before the fair catch, trying to say that Williams was getting a little bit interrupted, but Carmel with a longer field than they've been used to playing with so far tonight in this last potential drive of the game.
Yeah, not only is it their longest field position possibly, but the more unexperienced quarterback in Jackson Treadway having to take this harder field advantage, or less of a field advantage for the Greyhounds. He's going to have to really show what he has with only 2 minutes and 45 seconds left here in the 4th. This is his showtime to show what he can bring for the Carmel Greyhounds.
Potentially one of those games that you say, I'm glad I stuck around. This Carmel student section has fizzled, like you said, but those that have stayed have potential to witness something historic, seeing Jackson Treadway with the opportunity to lead Carmel to a Week 9 victory heading into the postseason. 1st and 10 at the 23. Treadway flips it to Williams. Williams redirects himself, runs into his own lineman. And it looks like Marco Kate, the guilty party there on the tackle, as Williams tried to flip himself around.
Yeah, I think we're going to see lots more runs like that from Nate Williams and Drew Pemberton, just with the lack of trust potentially still with Jackson Treadway. But if you want to go down and score, you're going to have to use his arm here as the clock continues to run down.
Yeah, Carmel with all 3 timeouts. Pass is picked off by the Bears, and a stare down on the sideline. That should do it all but end the game. RJ Eldridge with the interception. Flag comes in. You can expect that to be some unsportsmanlike conduct. But Treadway's pass picked off by Eldridge, and that should sign, seal, and deliver it for LC.
Yeah, LC can kind of just run the clock out now, get 1st down, and that'll be about the game. Really unfortunate here for the Greyhounds as it's their last game for the seniors at home. Really tough way to kind of go out on the season with a interception due to the injury of Anthony Colner.
Now, the one sliver of hope that Carmel's defense has is the fact that there are 3 timeouts left for Carmel. If they can get 3 consecutive stops, force the 3 and out, and utilize those timeouts well, we could potentially see one more drive from Carmel. But the way that last drive went from Jackson Treadway, I would be surprised.
Yeah, and the way that the running back core in Parks and Gooden have been performing tonight, I don't see how the defensive line is going to be able to get enough stops here on them.
Parks gets the handoff. To what you were saying earlier about how this Carmel defense has struggled with the run game, when you're at this point in the ball game, you can expect nothing but runs from Lawrence Central. So the Carmel can play to that for their advantage. When you know that your run defense struggles, when you can sort of predict it and know that it's coming, that's going to be much easier to defend. Now, can Lawrence Central surprise us and air it out? Because we have seen Terry Walker's ability to throw the ball, sure, but at this point in the game, I'm expecting nothing but runs from the Bears, and I think Carmel's doing the same.
Yeah, I'd expect mostly run games coming from the Bears too, as we haven't really seen Terry Walker complete many passes. They kind of just rely on the run game and the defense getting stops, and you can definitely tell that both these teams are sitting at 3-5 and for a reason, as they just kind of struggle to find that kind of flow throughout the entirety of the game. It's just really hit or miss depending on the drive, and don't really know what to expect every drive going into the drive. What it could be a good drive or 3 and out real quick.
Second and 11 right at midfield for the Lawrence Central Bears. 2 receivers on the right, 1 on the left. Walker in the shotgun. Receiver in motion now. They give it to Parks. Parks, little room to run, but a flag comes in. Carmel's saying that they forced the ball out, but the whistles came in well before that happened.
I mean, just another penalty, just kind of sum up the story of this game here tonight. Penalties and referees' confusion throughout the entirety of this game.
Yeah, another holding on the offense. So that'll pin Lawrence Central back, which is at face value not that helpful for Carmel, because you're really just hoping to get the ball back, but that does stop the clock and it keeps Carmel from having to use another timeout. So second down and 21 with the clock stopped. A very long field for Lawrence Central to play with. I would be planning to get the ball back if I am Carmel right now.
Second and 21 from the 40-yard line.
Walker takes the snap, hands it off once again. Parks stumbling across the 45-yard line. Tripped up eventually. Third down coming up, but a timeout called by Carmel. Chase Jarrett gets the stop there.
Yeah, tough position right now for the Greyhounds. Only 2 timeouts now left remaining for them, and minute 50 to play. 3rd and 16 for Lawrence, but the Carmel Greyhounds need to find a way to get a stop and hope for a miracle with Jackson Treadway in quarterback. We can see Anthony Colner kind of coaching him up a little bit on the sideline, kind of giving him some encouragement as they're hoping they can get one more drive in to hopefully tie up the game or even take the game.
So here's an interesting coaching decision that'll have to be made. Assuming Carmel gets a stop here, which if they don't, that's a very serious issue. But you're going to force 4th down. You have 1 timeout left. Do you hold on to that timeout for when you get the ball back, or do you use the timeout immediately and give yourself as much clock as possible?
You know, we're not in the same position as we were with Colner in the first half, but the Carmel Greyhounds were perfectly fine without using any timeouts really in the end of the first half, where they kind of just got the ball quick out to Carson Mace. Carson Mace would kind of just step out around the sideline and stop the clock. So I think something like that could definitely work again for the Greyhounds if Jackson Treadway is able to find Carson Mace, Jake Bell, and Nate Williams. Just get to them quick, let them get a couple yards, and continue to get out of bounds.
3rd and 16 at their own 45.
3rd down.
Terry Walker taking what should be his final snap of the evening. Pending a very quick turnover by Carmel. Walker will pass. Looking deep downfield, he pump fakes, moves left, trying to take it himself. Whole lot of hounds gobble him up. And an interesting play call by Lawrence Central. Carmel's taking their last time out. And that's really a risk you're running there. If you're going to have your quarterback keep the ball, I was very on edge, thinking that he might have lost the football there when he's trying to take it himself, and you got 4 different defenders coming right at him. Thankfully for his sake, he held on to the football, but Lawrence Central's going to punt this ball away and give Carmel about 1:40 to play with.
Yeah, if I'm Lawrence, I'm not even messing with going for this 4th down based on the last 2 drives we've seen from Treadway. I mean, they're almost like more confident giving it the ball to Carmel than they are going for on 4th down, because if they don't get the 4th down conversion, then Treadway has okay field position, but at least with punting it, they are putting a little bit more pressure on him to work up the field and find some answers.
.101 seconds left on the game clock. Williams sent out to receive this punt. You got to wonder if security's worried about these fans rushing the field if Carmel pulls off a miracle.
No, I do not think that's gonna be seen tonight here, unfortunately, for the Greyhounds. I think it will be a quick turnout on the offensive side for the Greyhounds.
Punt sent away, bounces off the leg of Nate Williams. Who's got the football? It's gonna be Carmel football, but lots of scares on the special teams by this Carmel team. They seem to be unable to hold on to the football when it comes to receiving kicks. So bouncing off of Williams' legs, nearly picked off by the Bears, and that would have sealed the game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they could have just taken a couple of knees and run the clock out. That would have been, the night for the Greyhounds would have been a very unfortunate way to go out. But now the trust is in Jackson Treadway, the sophomore quarterback for the Greyhounds. One last opportunity, as the last 2 drives definitely have not gone in his favor.
No timeouts for Carmel. 1:33 left in this game. Treadway will pass, gets rid of it quickly, finds Woodward on the sideline. He gets out of bounds.
Yeah, that's what the Greyhounds need to do right there, exactly what they're doing. Just look for those short out routes, get out of bounds, stop the clock, and continue to work up the field. But it's going to be a tall task for Treadway to stay consistent in those passes and really find the right targets.
Anthony Colner with a boot on his left foot, paces anxiously on the sideline. He led Carmel in this 2-minute drill-esque sequence to end the first half, but he cannot be out there for this one. Treadway to pass once again. Pocket collapses. He moves right. Pump fakes, gets rid of it. Finds Woodward again, hovering around the line to gain. They're going to say it's a first down. So while first downs aren't your first concern, your concern is getting downfield and scoring. A lot of times you get into these situations and a 3rd and 4th down sneak up on you because you're not concerned about it. So it's good to see Woodward get out of bounds after getting that first down. 1:23 left on the clock. And Carmel has time to take their time and set up a play.
Jake Bella needs to move back a little bit. It looks like he's almost in a offside position there.
Treadway to pass. He gets brought down. Ball gets loose, picked up by Drew Pemberton. Ball was brought out by Carter, but recovered quickly by the Hounds.
Greyhounds need to play quick here as the clock is continuing to run down, as they're not able to get out of bounds.
Treadway to pass once again. Exact same play. He is brought down hard. And it's Carter once again.
Yeah, just a really tough task here for Jackson Treadway, as the clock is now eking under the 40-second mark. I think this is it for the Greyhounds right here.
Treadway just trying not to get sacked. He airs it out, finds his man down the field. Clock will stop as the chains move, so another first down for Woodward.
Greyhounds need to get this ball off quick and just continue to march down the field. It's going to be a tall task still here with 30 seconds.
Carmel knocking on the door of field goal range, but still not quite there. Treadway to pass once again. Looking deep downfield, he's got nobody there. picked off. Another interception. Errol Kearns, he had the kick return back for a touchdown earlier this game. He gets an interception. Flags fly everywhere. You got to guess another unsportsmanlike conduct. But Treadway's night appears to be over with 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, definitely a tough appearance tonight for Treadway. Put into a tough position, tough game to come into.
The 2 sacks from John Carter back-to-back definitely are what killed you, because you don't blame Treadway for throwing an interception when he's pinned down to just 20 seconds on the clock. There's the unsportsmanlike call.
Lawrence has the ability now just to snap the ball, run this clock out. Definitely not what the seniors here for Carmel were wanting to happen tonight. Definitely not ideal. Only having 1 home game win on the season
Week 1
for the home fans, which was week 1. Definitely looked promising then, I'm not gonna lie. I thought we'd see a couple more here at home at least, but Carmel fans definitely disappointed with the showing this season.
Yeah, so Lawrence Central outscores Carmel 14-0 in the second half. And a disappointing end to this historically bad year for Carmel football. It's going to wrap up the regular season at 3-6, which is unheard of for this program. Last time they finished the regular season with a losing record, 1997. So nearly 3 decades ago was the last time we saw a Carmel team fall this far under 500.
Yeah, and this handshake line might be a little interesting here, as some unsportsmanlike conducts were called throughout the game, leading to some potential injuries too from Anthony Colner. So definitely interesting there, but definitely not what the Greyhounds wanted tonight.
Yeah, so as we wrap up this football season here from the booth, it's been, like we've been using the word disappointing all year, it really just has been a disappointment from this team. You came in to week 1, saw a great win, everybody firing on all cylinders, but the injuries plagued us. But definitely not the night that you wanted for senior night. The students did not show up. The players did not show up. Anthony Colner has 2 weeks to recover before playoffs.
And it's kind of the same story, you know, where Carmel Greyhounds kind of get off to the start like we were talking about early on in the game. Really hit those first couple of drives hard early, and then throughout the rest of the game just kind of fall off. But that last quarter is kind of falling off due to Jackson Treadway not performing up to the standard that we've seen Anthony Colner performing throughout this season.
Post-game after this quick break, but for all of us here at CHTV, I've been Noah Bedoris with Andrew Heutstein. Thank you to our director, Coyer Paradise, our producer, Abigail Bonaker, and the entire crew. Great night.
I'm Brandon Melby, back with Eli Penquite for the post game. So yeah, not the best second half. We talked about how Carmel had a strong first half and needed to do the same things for the second half, and obviously they did not. Put up 0 points on the board, gave up 14 points, one of them being a punt return touchdown. That's really kind of what flipped the switch to Carmel and just lost all their momentum. So not a lot of great things for the Greyhounds in that second half. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to get into about the things that Carmel could have improved on?
Carmel really just struggled offensively the entire second half. They had 14 points in the first half, and they ended the night with 14 points. And then defensively, they had the one drive that went wrong towards the end of the game that they got up on and were able to score and take the lead. and then got the 2-point conversion to go from 15 to 17 points. And again, the special teams punt return is another problem that we saw a couple weeks ago, that special teams is having a tough time with that type of stuff.
Yeah, and the word injuries came up way too many times tonight. Carmel already dealing with a bunch of injuries, and a bunch more players got injured tonight. A big one, Anthony Koner, went down, and we saw the sophomore Jackson Treadway come in for the Greyhounds, and definitely a lot of young mistakes, thrown 2 interceptions, one costing them the game when they were driving in a field goal to force overtime, just threw it straight to the safety. So a lot of young mistakes. Really hurt seeing Koner go down, hurt seeing Eugenio go down, let alone that we already had 9 starters injured going into that game.
Yeah, there was a lot of key players that they might not miss the entire game, but they came out for a few plays and just didn't look perfect. And they started good, but later weren't as good, including Pemberton and Williams, who were out for a few plays.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of momentum swings for Carmel. That's what really lost them the game. Carmel ended 1-4 at home, lost their final 4 home games, so not the way you want to wrap up a season. But we're looking forward to the sectional games, and I've been Brendan Melby alongside Eli Penquite, and this has been the Lawrence Central versus Carmel game.